everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress, of a podcast about movies and TV shows and video games with lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me per usual are two of your other hosts. Today, we have Brian and Devin here.
Yo.
How's everyone doing?
We out here.
Oh, weird. You saying my name. I don't know.
Would you rather me say something other than your name?
It's your boy, DJ Skinny Penis.
Because I'm not calling you Little Dick Dan. I'm not doing it.
Listen, man, I like a moniker. I don't know if I want to use my government anymore. No, it's fine. I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. I got over an illness. I was very sick for the last week, but it wasn't COVID. Shouts out to not having COVID.
Refreshing to be sick with something else.
Right. First time I've been sick in probably like 5-6 years.
I was about to say, Jesus.
I do not get sick very often, so that's like really bad.
That weather change. I've had to start taking allergy medicine because this is the time of the year where my body's like, either you take allergy medicine or you'll die. I will make you die.
Yeah.
With that, shall we hop into our first segment of the week, guys?
Oh boy.
Let's do it.
News talk.
This week, every listeners, we're covering one piece of news, considering what the main topic is. We don't want it to be super long. So there was only really one ginormous piece of news that came out this week. It was that the Super Mario Brothers movie teaser came out. And Brian, why don't you tell the listeners what you think of first?
So, I mean, this movie's chock full of A-list actors because that's what they do for animated movies now instead of getting the actual voice actors for these video games, TV shows, cartoons that these come from. And there's some that sound really, really amazing, like Jack Black. And then there's some that sound less amazing. I think we all know who that one is.
Wait, who could that be?
Obviously, Charlie Day.
We're talking about Charlie Day and Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah. Man, Keegan-Michael Key sounds great as Toad. I will not lie.
Yeah.
Like, I was genuinely surprised and had to during the credits, like, who the fuck was that? I was like, holy shit, that was Keegan-Michael Key? What the hell?
It's one of those things where you accidentally find out that like a normal actor is like really good at voice acting randomly, which can be hit or miss because they're two different things, even though they do have some parallels. Keegan-Michael Key might be one of those people that are like, holy shit, bro, like, are you in the right place? Yeah, I think this trailer as a whole is way better than anything I could have imagined from when I heard this first be announced. Because who the fuck cares about a Mario movie?
Okay, so one thing, I will have to stop you there. Mostly because I've heard that complaint, and also I was just like, what did people think? Did they think like the Sonic again was gonna happen? Like it was gonna be ugly Sonic again? Like I was like, I feel like Nintendo's way more like precious with their IP and like careful with it. Where I feel like Sega, let's be honest, Sega's been selling Sonic's ass on the corner for 20 years.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was some kind of like gambling machine in like the dirty alleyway of Tokyo, Japan or something.
But Nintendo, like they're pretty. They play it close to the chest on their shit. And Mario, their mascot, like, so I was like, yeah, I expected it to look like like a Mario video game cutscene, and it does, and that's not a criticism or an insult. It looks great.
But that's like, I guess that's not the part that makes me nervous. I knew it was gonna look good. That was never anything that would make me nervous about it. It was really like, what the fuck could this be about? I mean, I've played Mario games, and they have pretty simple stories. Not that most games don't from those kind of properties, but it was like, how does it translate? I do think they had a very fortunate ability to be making a movie after these movies have been coming out pretty recently. All these, old video game cartoony movies with Detective Pikachu, Sonic, all that kind of stuff. I think that gave them a really big leg up on being able to figure out what they want to do with it. That would be probably fairly simple while still being entertaining. And yeah, I think it's gonna work out for them well. I wasn't gonna watch this movie, and now I might just.
I might go. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was like, yeah, I'm not really attached to Mario that much, really, because like, what more to Mario is there? I'm never that type of person. I was never a Nintendo.
Wahoo!
Yeah, and I didn't want like. All right, let's talk about Chris Pratt since we're on the subject. Like, I get it. Because, like, look at Ryan Reynolds and Detective Pikachu, and they're like, oh, we can get away with doing this. Also, do you really want to hear, woo, for 2 hours? No, you'd fucking blow your brains out.
they'll throw it in eventually, I think.
Oh, yeah. There's no...
I guess that's the kind of thing that kind of gets me about it. It's just like, of all the white men that you could have chosen that are famous and kind of interesting, why'd you pick that one? And it's not even just because of the Chris Pratt hate or whatever. I don't care.
You know what they should have done? They should have just made it Ryan Reynolds.
Right? I wouldn't have been surprised. Honestly, the way Ryan Reynolds would be, that's a man whose agent be fucking working their ass off. Because Jesus Christ, that man gets in everything where he doesn't belong.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of hearing that man's voice. It felt like he almost like went to go like as soon as he got the role, he went and called Bradley Cooper and was like, "What do I do? What do I do? How do I make the voice? I need the voice." And then he did a really poor rendition of it, as if he was making fun of Bradley Cooper, and that's what came out of Mario's face when he talked.
Because like when he first says the line like, "What is this place?" I don't really hear the scent of, and I'm not calling it the Italian accent. It's not an Italian accent. I'm calling it the Mario accent. People are like, he's doing the Italian accent. It's like, no, he's not.
He's doing a weirdly Brooklyn, but not from Brooklyn accent.
It's like a watered down Mario accent.
Absolutely. Which I mean, yes, please.
Yes.
If they got really egregious with it would have been pretty would that be racism? Yeah.
I think so. But also, I feel like he only does it in that last line. And earlier I don't really get a sense of it. So I wonder if it's gonna be consistent or if it's gonna be like a weird character thing that Mario does when he's excited or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what's happening there is he's just not good at making the accent.
I mean, maybe. It might be that.
But then maybe don't make him do it if he can't do it.
I think fat Chris Pratt would have done great at it. I think this Chris Pratt, A-list Chris Pratt, nah. Like, he's just not going to be as fun anymore. He's too famous now. He doesn't have to try as hard.
That man literally said, it's going to be like nothing you've ever heard in the Mario world before, ever. And then he just goes, "Hey, yo, I'm Chris Pratt."
I mean, technically, I haven't heard Chris Pratt in the Mario world, so he wasn't lying.
It's a me,
True.
Chris. Yeah, okay.
But it is going to be different.
D for effort. You tried.
I made the connection that this is going to be the animated version of Black Adam, where Mario, the main character, is going to be the worst part of the movie.
100%, no question.
Maybe
he's going to get his ass carried by Jack Black and Michael Keaton.
By Jack Black, Toad, Luigi. I think Charlie Day as Luigi's, like, you get a tiny glimpse of him just screaming, but I think he's probably going to be hilarious in this movie.
They brought the penguins from Mario 64 that you always throw off the edge.
Yes.
And they look scary.
That was great.
I love that part.
I love
that was great.
The amount of like just effort put into like Easter eggs and just like callbacks and stuff like that. Like Sonic started doing that in the second one.
A lot of fun with that. Even with like the mushroom where Toad's like, "Don't eat that, you'll die." Like that's a callback to like the poison mushroom that would kill you if you touched it. Like, yeah, so I think this movie's gonna be chock full of them. I will say one thing I noticed, because people have been talking about how Mario's face looks a little weird. And it does. It looks slightly off, but also I was like, it looks like Mario. But there's a part of me that was like, did they make him look more like Bob Hoskins who played Mario? For a second, I was like, yo, he kind of looks like Bob Hoskins.
He does.
And I don't know if Bob Hoskins looked like Mario or if Mario now looks like Bob Hoskins. I think they've become one now.
They kind of like Disney-fied his face, so like made his cheeks chubbier and then made his eyes a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I figured that's exactly what they were going to do.
It don't bother me.
So that
I think it's funny if it is meant to look like Bob Hoskins.
My issue is Mario got no cheeks, bro. Mario is not cheeked up at all. That man just got straight back. How you just gonna be a thicky boy with no booty?
To be fair, he's wearing overalls, and sometimes it's hard to show off your ass in overalls.
This is skin tight, man. They're made specifically for Mario. Like, they don't have no damn cake. Give Mario the cakes. Nintendo.
Yeah.
Are you listening right now? Mr. Nintendo, Miyamoto, you know Mario got cakes. Stop playing. Give him the cakes.
Absolutely. I was worried at the start of this that when he gets shot into the world, clearly it's going to be a fish out of water story. And I was like, oh no. Like, I was like, don't do the Sonic thing. But luckily, I was so scared. I was like, please, did we not learn from this? But I guess it makes sense depending on which world he comes from. Does he come from our world or does he come from a weird, like New Dunk City, which is in that new Mario game or whatever? But either way, I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, where it's like, I was just a plumber, and now here I am in this crazy world eating mushrooms.
Right.
So it's like, that I don't need that. I don't want that. But that might be what we're getting. Because what else are they going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm genuinely, surprisingly excited for this. Yeah, after seeing that, I was like, it's going to look great. So, and I bet you kids are going to fucking eat this shit up.
Oh, easy. No question.
But yeah. Does anyone else have any other thing to say about Chris Prattio?
The way I watched the Nintendo Direct that this came out on, of course. The way that man said Koopa sounded like a slur. I know they were doing it because everyone's talking pretty slowly. I'm sure it's for translation. But he was like, "Yeah, I used to play video games all the time.
He had weird pauses.
And smash the Koopas." And I'm like,
to me, it seemed like he didn't know what he was talking about. To me, I feel like he meant to say Goomba, and then Koopa came out, which is still a thing. But I was like, I don't know if you're talking about what you think.
To be fair, Super Mario Brothers didn't have Koopas or Goombas. There was another third thing that I can't remember what they were called. But
a hard K.
Yeah, that's what it.
God!
It's one of those things like it's not racist, but it feels racist. That felt racist. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's also because it's coming from Chris Pratt a little bit, and you're like, this man already has some questionable morals.
Jack Black's definitely was a lot better.
Yes.
He seemed way more natural
Jack
than
Black,
Chris
I just
Pratt.
think he's just a much more laid back dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing I forgot to mention. I like how the actual title of the movie, which is funny, the Super Mario Brothers movie, okay? But also, some of the font almost reminds me of that original movie. Like the I was like, oh, that's kind of funny that they kind of went back to that slightly. Okay.
Yeah, that movie
Hopefully
bangs.
it's
I don't
better
care what
than that.
anybody says. Fuck anybody says that movie. So that movie's fucking awesome.
Wait, I have to say one more thing. I don't know if I didn't think about this or I just forgot, but I think I just realized that the reason their names are Mario and Luigi Mario in that movie, because in reality, in our society, if like we were to say like you and me, Brian, we're the Bryan brothers, that would mean our last names are Bryan.
Yep.
They took it so literal and stupid.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's real
It
dumb.
literally just occurred to me as a 30-year-old man. I felt so sad. All right. That's the news, everyone. God damn it. We'll see when that movie comes out. Guys, shall we now move on to our main topic of the week?
Oh boy.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
First, we're trapped in another fortress, guys. We're here. The time has come. The journey must end, unfortunately, because we're in the fortress of
Lord of the Rings.
Return of the King.
Returns.
Arise, riders of Theoden. Shields shall be split.
Death!
A sword day.
Death!
A red day. Ere the sun rises.
Death!
These people are going wild right here.
Death! Oh. Sorry, I just got chills again.
Yes, listeners, we are in our final fortress of the Lord of the Rings. We are covering the Return of the King. We've finishing the trilogy and answering the biggest question we've been asking ourselves, and I bet you've been asking yourself, will Brian like it?
Were people asking this question? Were people interested in whether or not I cared about this movie?
I was, and I know Devin was, and that's what matters right
Everybody
now.
that's listening right now is on the edge of their seat right now.
Yeah, they're just waiting. They've been debating. There's been polls. Voting time is coming, and they've been out in the polls, Brian. They've been voting to see whether or not you'd like this or not.
I want to know. I want to know what the poll said. Probably no. They probably said I wouldn't like it. Once they heard the first episode, they're like, "Yeah, this motherfucker's not gonna like this."
I guess we'll do quick non-spoilers. Brian, would you do the honors of dashing our dreams aside and giving us the reality of your opinion?
I will finish this up with the last movie and how I kind of feel. I guess for this movie and then overall, just real quick, I like this movie the best out of the three. I think this one is the most interesting one, the most cohesive feeling to me, and I think it has the best sets, the best environments, because it's different enough that I wasn't getting bored with the shit that I was seeing.
Yeah, it somehow feels the highest budget of the three, doesn't it?
Yes,
like it
absolutely,
somehow
100%.
feels that way.
It felt the most of, I think, what I expected the entire series to be. Maybe,
Right.
unfortunately so. Maybe that was my bad doing that. But it felt the most like a movie that I would have watched. Just with the way things came out. I didn't feel as lost, and I guess because they had already done the explaining in most of the other two movies. I don't know. This movie felt good, and it ended fine, and that was cool. I would have left theaters.
Wait, it ended fine on which ending?
Fair. Theatrical, of course.
Well, even with that, I wrote them down. There's about 5 endings in this movie anyways.
That's fair.
Do you feel the emotional, like, bittersweetness at the very, very end? I mean, just gets right to the core.
Yeah, we'll get into all of those kind of things that happen throughout it. But yeah, I did think I enjoyed this movie a lot.
Cool.
A lot is a strong
That's
word.
great.
I enjoyed this movie.
Oh, never mind.
I don't want to give people unrealistic expectations. I wouldn't call it like the best movie I've ever seen, but I do think it was.
To be honest, like you're more positive than I thought you would be.
Yeah.
I thought you would just be like, it was a movie. I'm glad it's done, but you seemed even slightly more positive.
And that's what's interesting, because I know you said one of the things that you commented on was that if I wasn't super into Two Towers, I probably wouldn't like Return of the King. And
that's what I thought. Yeah,
I don't know. Two Towers felt weak to me. Out of the other ones.
Wow.
And I don't know if maybe I don't know what didn't click with it about me. I guess I just kept seeing the same white man in different armor, basically, and then telling me that I should care about this white man, and then him dying or something stupid happening, and then being like, "It's my brother." And I don't know. I just didn't vibe with it the same. I did like the introduction of Golem in that.
right.
Other than that, that was kind of just, yeah, I don't know.
I wish Brian hadn't seen many movies, and we could just get his fresh review on, like, just
I wish you could
these,
wipe
like,
Brian's mind and make him see no movies.
Yeah.
Then this would be the best movie I've ever seen, because I hadn't seen any.
I mean, granted, like I bet you it would be different 20 years ago.
Absolutely,
Like
100%.
yeah,
I'm sure I would have
yeah,
held this very high regard had I
right,
watched this as a small child. But unfortunately,
right,
I've seen too much media now that's built off of this specifically,
Right,
right.
and
right,
that's made it
right.
more difficult for me. But yeah, that's kind of my feelings.
Nice. Would you watch it again?
That's hard. Not at once. 3
Wait,
hours is a
Right,
long time to
right.
dedicate to much of anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Fair
Brian,
enough.
what if it's an hour longer? Would you watch it then?
Absolutely not. The amount of times that I had to stop this movie because I kept falling asleep was enough. Just because the thing about me, with my ADHD and movies is it's not like a TV show where I can kind of like nod off, do something else for a little bit, and still understand what's going on in the plot line. I will
Right.
miss something really important if I'm on
Mhm.
my phone for even a few minutes. So I have to like
Yeah.
dedicate, like, I need to sit here and watch this. This movie's 3
Yeah.
hours and 20 fucking minutes. How do you expect
Yeah.
someone with ADHD to really sit there in a chair and watch something like that when there's so many moments that there's not even a word being said? It's just an overture and two people looking at each other and smiling. The amount of times that
Yeah.
happens in this fucking movie
Yep,
is
you're not wrong.
Jesus Christ. So then, of course, I like.
Considering there's a whole like 3-minute sequence where campfires are lit across the world, yeah.
And I'm like, this is a good time that I can look at my phone. And then someone dies, and I'm like, what the fuck? What happened? Yeah, so this is rough for that reason. I don't know
That's
how
fair.
y'all can get through without watching like a series or something. Can get through.
That's
I watched the
phenomenal.
extended this past week. Ready for this, man? I loved it.
We're different breed for me. I would need an
We're
intermission.
different, yeah,
If this was in
absolutely.
theaters, I need a pee break, a 15-minute to catch my breath, stretch my legs.
I was gonna
Intermission.
say, I bet you might enjoy it more considering you would have to watch it in a theater.
Right.
You know,
I don't.
Bring
That
back the
commitment is-
intermissions. Oh my
it is a
God.
lot. It is a lot. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're absolutely not wrong.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was great.
I mean, me and Devin, we don't really have to go too deep into our,
Yeah,
our
we-
opinions. They know we love it. We
Mhm.
both watched the extendeds, and we'll
Mhm.
get into the extended stuff at the end, listeners, as usual with this type of these episodes. I guess that's kind of it. Let's get into spoilers from here on. We'll probably jump to big event and a big event, and then maybe circle back to smaller stuff because this movie's a lot. And the reason I said that I thought you would think Two Towers is better, one, shorter, two, most people that I've talked to about these movies think that Two Towers is their favorite. There's like 3 groups. There's people that like the third one because of the end. There's people like the first one because it's the most practical and it's the smallest scale, but still very intimate. People like the second one the most is because it's the most actiony, which is debatable, but I do think that Helm's Deep Siege is the most actiony of the 3.
There was some crazy shit that happened in this movie.
Yes, but I will say I think this one is the action is throughout it more.
Mhm.
Like from beginning to end, there is like an action sequence that is happening. So yeah,
Mhm.
what did you think of getting to see Andy Serkis in his own skin finally?
So yeah,
At the
I
beginning
had
of this movie.
seen spoilers from ages ago of just trying to look at what his whole deal was without actually watching the movie. So I knew what his original character looked like. It's funny that you brought that up because that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Because like when I first
Okay.
turned the movie and I saw him and I was like, oh yeah, like okay, that ring must have really fucked him up because he's like super weird. And then he started
Yeah.
talking and I was like, oh, he's always been like this. He's always been a fucking weirdo. The ring didn't do shit to him, just made his skin gray. Dude fucking was weird as shit. Them
Yeah.
dudes were just some drunks on the boat just acting up. What is wrong with these people?
Mhm.
What was Smeagol and Deagle?
The whole village
Yeah.
went back. Everybody's like, "See, I told you, Smeagol was gonna kill somebody eventually." Like,
Imagine killing someone on your birthday,
ugh.
You
Like,
should be allowed to. It's your
Jesus.
birthday.
right? But I love that they found a way to get Andy Serkis in the movie without being a CGI man
Yeah.
in a ping pong ball
Mhm.
suit,
All for him to choke out a man
right?
over a
Yeah.
stupid fucking ring.
It's fucking rough. I remember when I saw this in theaters, my hands were in front of my eyes during that whole sequence when he starts to climb into the cave and he's just sitting there and you
Ugh.
see him slowly transform and you see the transition of his eyes to the CG eyes.
Mhm.
Oh, I was so fucking scared, dude.
It was
Oh my
super
God.
gross.
Scary dude.
Yeah, yeah. Good for Smeagol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Fellowship's back. It was kind of nice to see, not all of them, but they get to reunite with Merry and Pippin at Isengard, which is kind of sweet. and
Mhm.
a nice moment. They're getting high as fuck.
I would rather them not meet up with Merry and Pippin.
No? Even after this movie, you still don't like them?
I fucking hate Pippin more than you could.
Oh man, more than Gandalf.
Yes, Pippin and Frodo are my least favorite characters in this entire movie, and we'll get into why
Yeah,
throughout this. But
yeah.
yeah, Pippin is just
Well,
a fuck
Frodo, I
up.
mean, there's a lot of reasons to hate Frodo, but yeah, Pippin.
I can understand why Gandalf always wanted to fucking uppercut this man whenever he saw him.
Oh my god, yes.
Because Jesus Christ.
Constantly fucking up.
And this man, did I do that? Like, yes, you did. Fucking stop. Do less.
I love Gandalf's just like he can be so savage to anybody, like, but he saves
Everyone.
most of it for Denethor and Pippin, and then when you put them in
Yeah.
the same room together, Gandalf's just pissed off overall. Like,
Yeah.
wow, the person the Hobbit I hate the most just swore his service to the man I hate the most. This is gonna be a bad time.
Yeah, Gandalf's not in a good spot. He fucking hates it. But yeah, let's stick with Gandalf and Pippin then. Let's kind of do that storyline a bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, Pippin's an idiot. Gets the Palantir. Basically makes Sauron a target for Sauron. He thinks he has the ring, and so Gandalf's like, "All right, well, we need to go now, you fucking idiot."
I just started wondering this, but like, what do you think? Like, once Sauron knew that like Gandalf was doing something with hobbits, like, what do you think he possibly could have been like thinking that they were doing? Like, I guess just like maybe getting recon on like what's going on in Mordor or something.
I don't
'Cause
know,
he, like,
to be honest.
He definitely knew that there were hobbits involved doing something against him, and he didn't. You know, he didn't think that it could
I mean,
be the
he was
most obvious
constantly
thing.
chasing them, but like, yeah.
Like he didn't think about the main. Like I guess he was just so like their plan was just so audacious that he's like, no, they'd never try to do that.
Why did Pippin touch
Yeah.
it? What was the reason?
Because he's a curious bastard.
What is the
Yeah.
like? What a fucking child thing to do. Like, are you so childish? Like, I got it.
He was dumb.
No, don't do it. Bro. I got
I
it.
just want to see it.
And like Mary even points that out. He's like, "You always have to touch the thing. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
All the time." But I was actually kind of sad when they leave and Mary and Pippin genuinely don't know if they're gonna see each other again.
Mhm.
Even Mary looks at Gandalf. Gandalf's like, "Don't look at me. I don't know. You might not see him again."
I wish you did.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, they go to Minas Tirith. Which what'd you think of Minas Tirith? Did you like
Oh,
the layout,
so
the look of that
cool.
city? Because I think it's a beautiful layout, even if I'm hoping it's not like the poor people are at the bottom of the
I
city.
think that's probably what it's going to be like, but they weren't going to show that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, I guess, a place of hope.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No, I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting. I thought everything was a lot better looking in this movie. It felt like lighting felt better. There was an issue in the lighting in the last two movies. Even the series as a whole, honestly. But this felt the less annoying to me, and maybe that's just me getting used to it. But I really don't know what they use to. I guess they try to want to make it look more fantasy or something. But some characters are
Right.
just so weirdly overlit for no reason, and made the background look really faux to me. So they didn't blend
Interesting.
correctly.
Right.
And I feel like they got a little bit better with that. And I think one of these scenes in this part was indicative of that, I guess.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
One thing I did have to point out when Mary or Pippin and Gandalf leave and Mary runs away and Aragorn chases him. I'm pretty sure that's what inspired me as a 9-year-old child to start skipping steps as I walked up and ran upstairs. Just watching Aragorn do that, I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you can do that."
You can just not. I feel like you told me this story before too. That's the funniest thing about it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There were a lot of things that Aragorn inspired me to do as a kid, like brood silently and try to look cool. I think most of my trying to look cool as a kid was based off of Aragorn. You know, any stick that became a sword, Aragorn all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. But skipping steps definitely up there.
That's so funny. It's such a random thing to just steal.
It really is. Yeah. It's so sad childhood thing to do.
It's wholesome though. I kind of like that. We're just like, this is my hero. He skips steps. I skip steps.
That's just the amount of shadow that these movies have over my, like, I don't know who I'd be without watching Lord of the Rings. Like, and don't under, like, I've watched these movies when I was young. I would go back and like skip through the DVD and just like, you know, when like there'd be scenes and like you could go to scenes in the DVD menu and it'd be like, you know, in each menu you'd have to go next and then they would all kind of play a little bit and there'd be something in the background, the menu, whatever. I would do that like almost once a day with Return of the King for a long time. Like I did it a lot. Like, and man, there's certain parts of the movie I just like have memorized. It's like, yep, that's kind of, I don't know. So
it's kind of sad how much of this movie I could say line for line.
Yeah.
Of all of them. I'm not gonna lie. No one should watch this movie with me. I would be way too annoying.
Yep.
We'll actually get into that later. I have a story that's funny about that later. So real quick, also Arwen decides to come back. She doesn't leave for Valinor because she sees a vision of her potential child, and that is where you get the reforging of the sword of the king. And Elrond is
sick.
He just looks so frustrated and sad at the end of his days. He's just like Arwen shows up back. He's like, yeah, I saw a kid, but you don't. Oh, fine, I'll fucking make the sword.
This movie is just a bunch of old people being mad at younger people for doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
the epitome of the newer generation just doing dumb shit. You just be like, bro, what the fuck?
This is one of the things that I love about the difference between the books and the movies, because in the books he had the sword reforged when they left Rivendell, and he was kind of
Right.
like, okay, I'm gonna be the heir of, like, I'm gonna inherit my throne, whatever. And in the movies they kind of made it seem like, well, maybe I can not inherit my throne and just go back and hunt some rabbits or whatever if I play my cards right. And they're like, and then Elrond's like, here's the sword, man, you gotta go get this army of the dead. And Elrond's like, damn it, I have to go be the king.
That is one of the best scenes of the movie, is when he shows up and he literally tells him, put aside the ranger, become who you were born to be. And it's such a good scene, man. It's so
love
great.
I love the little thing when Arwen goes up to the sword too and the music's playing and she says the little prophecy about the sword. Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Denethor's a real piece of shit, Brian. You finally get to meet him because you didn't watch the extended. He fucking sucks.
He fucking sucks so bad, dude.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
It's funny watching this again because, like, my girlfriend was asking me, like, why does he hate Faramir so much? And I'm like, I don't know. He just kind of does. Like, I don't know
He's
if they
just
ever
an
really explain it.
asshole.
Like, he's such a piece of shit. I think one of the interesting things that I saw in a meme or something was like, so tomatoes, when they brought tomatoes over from the New World, they would serve them on silver plates, and it would like poison the fuck out of people because I guess there's like this leaching thing, like, and this reaction goes off when like silver touches the tomatoes. And they didn't know what it was, and so people be going crazy and getting poisoned and sick and stuff from eating tomatoes on silver plates, which, by the way, at the time was viewed as like a huge delicacy, right? And I think that was intentional that they threw that in Return of the King, that he was eating tomatoes off of a silver plate. Like, they did that very pointedly.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
So like maybe that's why he's going a little crazy.
He was already going mad, yeah.
But I think he was crazy for other reasons too, because the bro was just like, oh, we're under attack. Just everybody die. Like, cool. It's over.
He literally later tells Pippin when he throws him out of the pyre room, he's like, he literally tells him to go and die in whatever way you see fit. Like, he's lost it, dude. He's lost
I mean, as soon as you saw his face, you're like, okay, well, this guy sucks. He's the bad person. And then they had, what was that, like, the tomato all over his face and stuff. And I was like, I hate him. I would very much like him to die.
Yeah, he was the worst.
Which is why I also like that they cut that Boromir section of Two Towers, because I like this being his first appearance in this movie rather than Two Towers. Just because it's a little more devastating seeing how he already knows that Boromir's dead and about Aragorn. And he basically knows everything that Gandalf tells Pippin not to say a damn word about. He's like, Pippin, shut the fuck up.
And then instead, Pippin goes, I will serve you, my sire. Please let me do anything for you. Let me kiss your feet, please. Then you just go over to Gandalf and just like, God, what the fuck?
God, I'm surrounded by idiots.
Which, to be fair, like the man is grieving his son, whatever, and he's like, Pippin, get the fuck up. He's like, you have been stored to the city and you are fucking up. He's like, where are the armies? Where's the defenses? Like, this shit is garbage, dude. Like, just like straight up, I just love Gandalf just has the savage and walk into anybody's house. Like when he goes into Theoden's hall in the second one, he's like, yo, courtesy of your hall is a little lessened of late, Theoden King. Like, he just is not afraid to roast anybody out of their lives in their own house.
Yeah, he don't care.
Because he knows that the realm needs more than this. Like, that, your little petty triflings or whatever, it does not matter. Y'all are going to die tomorrow. Like, yes, your son died. That sucks. You would be dead right next to him right now if you don't do something.
Yeah,
like,
Gandalf the Grey might have been a little bit more fun, but Gandalf the White is business. Like, listen, we are here to do a job.
He's wearing his business suit. Absolutely.
He don't get high no more. He's sober now.
Yeah.
We'll cut back to them in a second. Man, Frodo and Sam, those stairs, quote unquote, that's like a 90-degree angle straight up.
That is a stone ladder.
Stairs was not what I would have called that. But go off, sis. I hated their travel in this movie. I hated everything they did in this movie. It was just a weird, almost buddy cop thing of Sam hating Smeagol, Smeagol hating Sam and calling him fat over and over again, and then Frodo just having the most chapped lips you've ever seen before in your life.
Yeah, anytime somebody takes their eyes off Frodo, he just starts walking towards the enemy. Like,
my God, every fucking
Frodo,
time.
Get back here.
He reminds me of a baby that's like trying to kill himself. Like, he just reminds me of a baby that's like trying to run directly into the ocean or something. And you're like, you can't do that,
take him near any cliffs.
You can't swim.
You can't take him near any bad guys. Can't take him near any good guys. You can't take this guy anywhere, bro. They should have put that elven rope around his neck and just pulled him along, like,
and just yanked. Sam should have just yanked his ass to Mount Doom.
Dude. I'm so tired of this man talking about how it's my burden to have the ring. You suck with it. What do you mean your burden? You're gonna get yourself killed, us killed.
Honestly, how much more efficient could the whole quest have been if, like, Sam? I feel like Sam would not have been corrupted by the ring at all if he carried it. Like, I feel
he's
like
so pure, bro.
He's too pure. I feel like maybe just like when Frodo's like, I'll take it to Mordor. Everybody's like, yeah, but your buddy there.
I think they
way
wanted
more.
Frodo to be specifically fodder because they didn't like him. I don't think nobody liked Frodo.
But honestly, like I think they did kind of need a mule, and like he was the mule. Like
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
When do you want to miss
That's
this
what
guy?
Gandalf literally says a lot in this movie. I sent him to his death. Like he literally says that.
He was hoping he wouldn't come back. He didn't want to see no more of those little motherfuckers anymore.
But I do like how they're literally so close to the army, and then later in the movie when they're still climbing, they're so high up. If you look down, you can still see the army is marching
There's
out.
still people coming out of Minas
which
Morgul.
explains how massive it is later in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so they kind of justify it there.
Also, like they didn't have anybody like watching the gate. I guess they're just that arrogant because like nobody can touch them in Minas Morgul. But like,
yeah, they're like, no one's gonna come
Bro's like
to us
on the walkway, and
yeah,
like
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
And like if any one of those orcs, when like they start marching out, if any one of them had just turned their head like this far to the right, they would have seen these two hobbits like climbing up this staircase. Like, be like, should we shoot
those
them?
don't look like orcs.
Yeah, we should probably shoot
Who
them.
the fuck is that?
Right.
Should we sound the alarm? There's no alarm, guy. There's no alarm. Hello.
Speaking of gliding 90 degrees, which is what a lot of these hobbits do, Pippin also does the same thing when he lights them beacons, which we were talking about a second earlier. I love that sequence because I remember as a kid, just like all those giant wide shots looking for where the next flame is in the distance. Like, where is it? I got to find it before they light it.
And the music in that scene is just like one of the all-time greats. But I love, the more I watch it, the more I'm like, there are people that live in these like huts by each one of these beacons. Like, and they're not lit. It's like, what if one of them had just been like fishing or something, or like out like taking a shit?
What if they died?
Yeah. And like, honestly, Isengard, like Sauron could have been like to the orcs, like in Two Towers, it could have been like, hey, just go up to that mountain and kill the people up there real quick so that they can't light this beacon in case, they ever need to. And that the whole movie's done right there.
Boom.
So, I don't know if that's the best job because of isolation. You can just have a family and chill, or the worst job because you ain't got shit to do.
It's like basically the equivalent of having to sit at the airplane where you have to like open it up for the emergencies. Like either you hope you never have to do it, but you know that if you do it, would I actually be able to do this well? Would I be able to do it?
Right.
Would it suck?
This is my responsibility now.
Would I fail? What if they kill me? What if I die?
Yeah. The beacon workers are like, well, Denethor's late on my pension. He's waiting on my pay this month, man. It's like, I'm trying to get another job back in Minas Tirith. It's kind of shitty out here.
So with that, Theoden decides to help because he was kind of being a petty bitch before and be like, yeah, they didn't help us. It's like, come on, bro. This is the fate
I think he was just talking tough. Like, and to be fair, like, yes, Gondor did not help you, but also Gondor's fighting a war, like pretty much a full-out war for the duration of, like, for the last 10 years,
24/7. They've constantly been fighting and dying.
Yeah, they've already been, like, they've been stopping a lot more people from getting to you. So really, and like, I think the thing that probably makes him like, pushes him over the edge is like, my country just got over a war. Like, I don't want to have another war on my soil. So it's better to go do it on somebody else's turf. Not mess up the grass over here. I don't know. Either way, wisely though. He doesn't fight it that hard.
So they're going, and then we cut to them a lot of times of them just kind of marching. Next big like actual action set piece is Faramir and all the Rangers and soldiers of Gondor get their asses whooped at Osgiliath.
Faramir
sneak attack style.
Has a really stupid face. And he shows his stupid face a lot during this scene of just him just looking overwhelmed and stupid.
We're real worried.
Yeah. Okay. This is maybe what I have the most to say about in this movie.
Do we got the stats?
I have the stats. It's not good. No wonder they're losing this goddamn fucking war.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse that. No wonder they're losing this war, okay? You can cut my profanity. However,
Jesus.
These dudes, one-on-one, there's like one orc gets in there and kills like 3 men in a row. Like, these dudes are trash. The Gondorian soldiers are absolute garbage. Like, I don't know if it's like a Peter Jackson thing. He just loves good guys sucking other than the main characters.
Well, yeah, he needs your heroes to kick ass and save the day.
First of all, their plan is to let them land and then wait for them to go around you and then pop out and be like, haha, surprise. Like, no, like,
the surprise attack was really goofy.
With arrows. Where's like the D-Day style, like, arrow machine just right as they're landing? And then second of all, and like, I'm going to give the Gondorians 1.5 kills in Osgiliath because on screen, there's like, I'm going to give them 1.5 kills, okay? Maybe 2, but we'll give them 1.5.
What is a half a kill?
They're like minus 30. Okay, after that, they kill 2 orcs as soon as they land, and then after that, they only get their asses kicked for the next for the entire battle. It is so atrocious
For like
to
the
watch.
rest of the movie, let's face it, for the rest of the movie, Gondor gets its ass
Oh my
kicked.
god, they are awful. Like I don't even know why they bother fighting. Like they were so bad. That's
why they ran. They said, "Fuck it, we can't win. We're out."
It always
Peace.
bothered me. That always bothered
I
me
will
about
say
Return of the King.
that shot of Gandalf coming and with the light is amazing.
No,
So
fucking
sick.
amazing. So
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah. Very,
Also,
very
it's
cool.
like, why'd you bring Pippin? Why you putting
Yeah,
a hobbit
why
in
was
harm's
Pippin
way?
there?
I get it, but why'd you bring Pippin?
Put a little helmet on him. Like, come on, bro. He looked dumb as
What
shit.
the hell is he gonna do?
Just so that Faramir could see, like, oh, a hobbit. I saw one of those the other day.
Right, yeah. But one fun fact I do have to say, Gothmog, the head of the white orc of those, if you remember him, Brian, the leader of those orcs, the ugly face guy,
the white one, the light skinned one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate his voice.
Yeah.
He has a really bad voice.
Yeah,
I don't know
he's
the voice
very-
actors for that. That
he's
voice
ugly.
sucks.
just that one.
Whatever the one that was speaking English, that voice sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He apparently, and I think this was rumored, but mostly people know this, was modeled after Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
because even then they knew he was a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, because Harvey Weinstein was the one that's like, let's just do it all in one. Like when they were pitching different studios, he's like, we could just do it all in one movie. Like, let's
yeah,
just do it all
sadly,
in
his
one.
name is attached to this movie. It's in the credits. It's very
I
unfortunate.
didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. Holy shit. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
He's a piece of shit.
So,
But I mean, honestly, very fitting.
yeah.
They should just have his character in there too. Like that character is not Gothmog, it's just Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, I have to mention, because just more Denethor being a dick when Faramir shows up. He's like, you abandoned your post, you punk bitch. It's like, that we were all gonna die. He's like, you should have. Good, go. And he literally basically tells him, go and die, is what he basically tells him.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
He's like,
sad.
Dad, if I take the city back, will you finally love me? And he's like,
Will you love
no,
me?
probably not, honestly. Being completely honest, no. And then, but like, I have no problem with Faramir getting a little angsty and like going and, having a death wish. But don't bring these other like 100 dudes with you. Like, that's just a
Right.
complete waste of men.
While the rest of the city watches behind. They're
Yes.
all like on the walls, literally watching all of these men die.
Like, like things are pretty bad, but at least we just got the survivors and we got enough guys. Oh, wait, they're leaving? They're going to go try. Oh, well, that's even worse. Like,
It's
it's just
bad.
a morale killer, dude. Ugh.
Like, even Faramir's like, if I should return, think better of me, father. And then Denethor just says, that will depend on the manner of your return.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Dude's a cold bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's just continue with Faramir then. I love this sequence, even though it's incredibly, horribly sad. Pippin's
Mhm.
song, the silence of it all, mixed in with Denethor crunching his food, and it's
Mhm.
just, it's
Like,
just,
just
so
running
well
down his
done. And
running down his chin.
Yeah,
Friggin-
I hated
it looks
that.
like
toddler.
it looks like he's bleeding from his mouth.
I don't
Yeah, it's
like
gross.
that at all.
Back to Frodo and Sam, like we were talking about earlier. Frodo tells Sam to finally fuck off because Gollum Inception. It was like a Three Stooges Inception plan on Frodo.
You ate the
He's
bread.
like, I'm gonna put these crumbs all over his jacket, and then he'll know.
That man played some Law and Order SVU, and I was like, I know he's a fat fuck. Yeah, that fat fuck. Of course he ate the bread. Look at him. It's all over his
There's
face.
the evidence.
I think what pushes Frodo over the edge is like Sam's like, oh, I can carry the ring for you for a little while. And that's when he's
Yeah.
like, oh, hell no. But I love when like Sam goes like further down the steps and he sees the bread that Gollum threw away. He's like, oh, fuck this. And he goes right back
Yeah.
up the stairs. He's like, oh, I'm so mad. Like,
Which that reminds me of, like, I feel like every kid did this in their childhood, crying downstairs, like just crying your eyes out while trying to like quickly run or walk downstairs
Yeah.
is like such a childhood thing to
You can't
do.
see
I
because your eyes
feel.
are all blurry from the tears and stuff.
it's
Yeah.
okay. His fall was broken by those cast iron metal pots and pans that he had on his back. So that I'm sure that
Right.
felt really, really good.
I love that Sam
Oh.
was always hands at all times when it came to Smeagol. That man did not like that
Fuck
motherfucker
yeah.
for a second. And rightfully so.
Yep.
But it was just so funny. Whenever he did anything, he was like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, bro.
But like,
Yeah.
he literally listened to Gollum talk. Like, Gollum is not subtle. He talks to himself with every plan he has.
He talks very loud, like right
Mhm.
next to them.
I don't know how they slept at all with like somebody talking like that. Like, I'm a light
I
sleeper.
know.
Like, I'd be waking up all night. It's like, okay, so he's gonna lead us to like a person that's a her, and then like, okay, there's a tunnel. We should definitely watch out for that. Like, he literally heard it from his own mouth
He gave the whole
that
plan.
he was gonna try to kill them. And Frodo's just
Yep.
like, no, it's me. Gollum's
Frodo's
being
like,
Gollum.
Sam, we need him as our guide. Okay, who cares? He wants
But
to
like,
kill us,
honestly,
so it's fine.
as soon as they got to the secret stair, you don't need Gollum anymore. Just fucking kill him. You don't need him anymore. Like, that's
Yeah.
his whole job is to take them to the staircase. That's it. And once
But
they
Frodo
got
was
there,
like,
it's fine.
trust me, Sam, trust me. Look how that went. Look about trusting Frodo fucking went.
Right. Literally, as soon as Frodo gets to the tunnel, he's like, "Oh, I don't really want to go in there now."
Yeah, he's like, oh, you could go back. He's like, I can't go back.
If this was me, I wouldn't allow this to happen. I would have beat the shit out of Frodo. I would have beat the shit out of Smeagol. I was taking the ring myself and throwing that shit in the goddamn toilet. Like, Jesus. What are y'all doing, man?
Especially after, like, Gollum's literally sitting there on the edge of the forest. He's like, once they're dead, I'm gonna get the ring, once they're dead. And Sam's just sitting there listening to that, like, can we Frodo, wake up, listen to this shit. I'm gonna kill him.
No, he
What the
doesn't
fuck?
mean it. He's funny.
And then, like, earlier in the movie, when Smeagol looks back at Sam and has that like grin on his face, he's like, "Gotcha, bitch." And Sam's just like, I would have been like, "Frodo, he just, what are you serious?"
He was being gaslit so hard.
I
It
know.
was
Really
amazing.
was.
Oh my god. Yeah.
We'll continue with Frodo in a sec. Let's get back to our trio of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and all the Rohirrim. They arrive at Dunharrow, that mountainside next to the scary Pass of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we already talked about Aragorn getting the sword and all that stuff.
That sword goes hard. That shit slap.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at it right now. Sword of the King, bro. It's great.
Does it come with a ghost? The ghost come with it?
Oh, I wish. Actually,
No,
I
you
know,
don't.
I wish.
You don't
I
think you wish,
don't. I don't wish that. They were pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Pass of the Dead. Brian, what did you think of the King of the Dead and that whole kind of sequence? Because you saw the theatrical, and we'll talk about this in the extended. This is where me and Devin have our feud, and we'll get to that. I'm excited to. But what did you think about the Pass of the Dead?
It was whatever. I didn't really have strong feelings about it one way or another, to be honest. It was cool CGI that I just felt like they wanted to throw in there. That's what it felt like to me. It didn't
That's
feel
what I'm saying.
anything.
Like, did it still look like decent to you?
Yeah, I don't think it looked bad.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like some old school Scooby Doo stuff. Remember those live action movies? There were some really good effects in this movie. I would think it's probably on the lower tier, but I still think it was better than what came out in the previous movies.
Right.
One thing that I love about the Pass of the Dead, like the extended sequence, is that like when you play the Return of the King video game, that's a whole level of like fighting the undead
Right. Yeah.
before you get
Oh,
there.
man.
But they take like the littlest things in movies and then they'll blow it up to a whole level. And I just love the amount of detail like that. I just it's appreciation for Return of
It's
the
like
King.
I think it's
video
the
game.
first level of that storyline in that game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, of the trio. But yeah, just like because like you can notice little things like, oh yeah, like this, that was in the video game, like that little part, like it was very cool.
Yeah. So with the whole Pass of the Dead ending, this is where we'll talk about the extended, but it ends literally with Aragorn saying, "What say you?" That's it. You never see them until way later in the movie. You don't know what the fuck happened.
You're right.
Yeah.
I did notice that because he was like, he said something about like, you're going to keep your oath, right? He's like, yeah.
No, but they end it where you don't know if they say yes or not. And then in the theatrical cut.
In the
And
theatrical
then the next
cut.
time you see them is later, which I love, which I do think hits better.
It does. I'm right.
It definitely hits better. But I think like with all of these extended cuts, they're only really for the people that want to just watch Lord of the Rings again and again and again on repeat. So like if you only want to watch them, like if you only just want to get the gist of it like first time through, then yes, the theatricals are definitely the best. But if you want a little bit more of like the lore and like you're just such a fanatic about the movies, that's the only reason to watch the extended.
Did you make your girlfriend watch the extended cut?
Yeah.
You did.
So it's only
wow.
good to watch them if you already know what happens in the main story and then like get a little bit more context.
What you're saying is they spoil it in Return of the King by having all that whole
1000%.
conversation play out. I mean, it's kind of a tropey cut, you know what I mean, when it comes to movies. Like I feel like that's definitely
Right.
used pretty often now. Where it's like, yeah, what do you say? And he holds out his hand for a second, and then it just skips to another part.
Like your heroes are gonna be heroes and they're gonna come, but like it's still left ambiguous enough to that later moment is that much more epic. Where we'll explain it in detail.
It's like they're fucking there.
It literally spells it out
Let's
to you
go.
in the extended.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, so
Gotcha.
it's worth seeing on like a second or third watch through, after you've seen the theatrical cut.
Yeah, once you know, it don't matter.
Yeah.
But on your first viewing, don't ruin it for yourself.
Right.
Understandable.
So that's left on the cliffhanger in that version, at least. Before that, Mary and Éowyn, in disguise, she takes Mary with her to war because obviously Éowyn being a woman, they're like to a whole ass war. Because obviously with Éowyn being a woman, Éomer and Theoden are like, you're not fucking coming. You can't come. And then with Mary being a hobbit, like he's too short. He can't fight. It's a waste, basically. And so she says, fuck it. And she picks him up. And I love the two of them, man. The two of them are like the most tear jerky, some of the tear jerkiest stuff for me.
Yeah, and I mean we'll talk about Pelennor Fields, but like, yeah, they were trying to sideline Eowyn again. She's like, nope, 3 strikes, you're out. I'm like just not gonna listen this time. I just love
Right.
how like I was watching it with my girlfriend, the scene where she's like in the morning and they're about to head out, and I'm like, he's gonna tell her to smile more, and he's like, one last thing, Eowyn, I would have you smile again. It's like, God damn it, like.
All right, let's cut back to the Siege of Gondor, Act 1, as I put it, daytime, where it's just about like a day and a half of Gondor getting their ass beat the whole fucking time.
Release the prisoners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, Lord of the Rings isn't that dark. They literally catapult heads to them.
Yeah.
Like, they're heads, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, anytime you're like, oh, maybe the orcs aren't that bad, right? Maybe they're just, nah, they're that bad.
Yeah, they're that bad.
They are that bad.
They really made it so you can't feel anything positive towards anything.
Oh, no. Fuck
even if
them.
they are funny sometimes.
Yeah.
I just love like I love that shot of Denethor at the top, and he sees like how many would you guess were there? Like 100,000,
like 100,000, something
like that. But like, I just love how he sees that. He's like, well, he's like, everybody just fucking quit. Like, let's go.
Just run away.
Like, just go.
Flee.
Don't.
And everyone's like, what?
Hey, you sit down at the wall. You guys are ready to fight. Guess what? Don't do that. Get back here. Like, that's not worth it. And Gandalf just smacks him in the fucking face. Like, dude,
so
shut up. And he's like, return
I just
to
wanted
your
that
post.
bonk sound that you always hear in memes and stuff. It just bonk.
Yeah, it's
stay here. Let's fight.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was gonna straight knock him out completely. That would have been good.
Wow, right.
The shot of all the soldiers going back and like getting their arrows and like shields and stuff ready is always sick. But the shot of Gandalf on the horse going up the stairs,
up the steps. I literally wrote that down. I don't like how close our brains are right now.
Oh my God, that has to be. And in trailers when they love a shot because they just play it over and over again in trailers, right? That was one of the shots from the Return of the King trailer. They put in every single TV spot, whatever. That shot was there because they loved that shot, and I bet.
Yeah, but they had to work really hard on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to do quick side tangent because you brought up the trailer. I have a very vivid memory of. You guys remember Apple trailers and like QuickTime?
Yep.
I remember a very vivid memory of downloading that trailer at the beginning of a day and just waiting hours to watch the Return of the King trailer.
The shittiest quality version on QuickTime that always worked really poorly.
With some dial-up, so it took, oh my God, it took so long. But I remember like I would go in there like every half hour so and play it and just watch it until it stopped and buffered, and then I would rewind it, and then I'd go and I'd come back a half hour later and play it and see how much further it got. Oh, good old dial-up.
Don't miss it.
Yeah,
do not miss it.
But speaking of like famous shots, there's a shot where a bunch of the Nazgul come down, and it's like 6 or 7 of them. That was originally only supposed to be like 1 or 2, and then Peter saw it, and he's like, "Can you guys add like 5 more Nazgul to that?" And they were like, what?" Like, yeah, I kind of want them all to kind of swoop in. If like they're like, "All right, Peter," crunching.
Yeah, that shit looked pretty hectic.
He loves them just picking up some people and just like dropping them and shit. Like,
oh my God.
Peter Jackson loves killing good guy soldiers. He loves it.
One note. I know it's like an industry thing that it's a funny joke or whatever. There's way too much Wilhelm scream in this fucking movie. They did it once in Two Towers, and I was like, ugh. It was really bad in Two Towers. It wasn't even mixed well. It was super loud compared to everything else on the screen. I was like, that sounded awful. You didn't even try. Usually can I be like, you can pick it out as like an Easter egg. Like, oh, I can hear that in the background. You know, that shit was like, what is that? And they did it like 3 or 4 times in this movie, and it pissed me off.
They do it a lot.
Time.
Yeah,
I hated it. What the fuck was
it's yeah, that's fair. I love Gandalf finally getting to kick some ass on
with a sword and
the staff, and he's just whipping it around. Oh, so
I love when he
good.
actually hits an orc with his sword, and it just like hits him on the chest, like he's like such an obvious like prop hit. Like
I noticed that,
like,
and it's the Gondor fight too, where some people were they weren't even doing the thing where they're like hitting them and then slashing them to make it look like they slashed. They were just hitting them like a baseball bat in the chest, and I was just like,
yeah,
huh. I guess I didn't think people were gonna see that, huh?
Yeah. But I also love that moment because Pippin actually gets a kill. He gets one
does get a kill. Yeah.
And then he gets to dip
That's
out.
more kills than I got.
Gandalf and Pippin are like +10, and all the Gondorian soldiers on that wall are -45. I mean, that was fucking atrocious. Like,
listen, man, someone's gotta have the backpack on. Someone's gotta carry.
It's true.
God.
It was an objective game, so it didn't matter about how many kills you got.
I have no idea how they stayed in the war this long. Honestly, no idea.
So that's where part of Gondor Act 1 stops. Let's discover and creepily crawl through Shelob's lair.
Ooh.
Brian, did you know there's a big old spider in this movie?
I do now. It was really weird, and I thought Frodo was dead.
Did you really think he was dead?
I thought this is how Frodo died. I thought Frodo died in this movie, and I thought it was from that.
That's nuts.
Because man gets he loves getting stabbed.
He loves getting
stabbed.
This man
has been stabbed so many times.
Hey, this is a plot hole that maybe not a plot hole, but it is something I noticed that I never noticed before as a kid. Mithril shirt. He has it on. How does that singer get through the mithril shirt?
Oh, that's a good point, Devin.
I think he must have gotten stabbed like on his leg or his arm or something instead. But
or just like straight in the dick.
Yeah, they made it seem like it was his stomach, but the way he had like the face and stuff that he made. But I guess I don't know.
That's a good point.
Ooh. And that sound when it gets the sound.
I love how they made the spider like a spider, and it's like incredibly quiet. This gigantic, terrifying spider when it's creeping over him, and it's deathly quiet. It's so good. It's so well done.
It was kind of a jump scare, to be honest, when he got stabbed. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to mention, like, they got the casting perfect in Lord of the Rings, but for Elijah Wood, for Frodo, they're like, for Frodo, we need somebody that's really good at just kind of like staring into space,
never
and
blinking,
looking kind of confused and like maybe being a little creepy and like haunted. That look at that like 2 minutes after he gets stabbed by Shelob, where the camera's just on his face and his mouth starting to foam, is like, yep, that's why we casted Elijah Wood for this role.
The only thing Frodo does in this movie is look stupid and get stabbed and has chapped lips.
Yeah,
that's all he does.
Basically.
I hate him in this movie. I hate him in all the movies, but I hate him the most in this.
The most in this movie, for sure.
Even if he said words, they were such useless words that I was like, I wish he didn't talk. I would have preferred if you just said nothing instead. Like, oh man, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I do love how, because she's barely in these movies, you get a little bit of Galadriel when she helps lift Frodo up metaphorically and maybe physically.
Kind of, yeah. He definitely like got yeeted up like a little bit. He was like hopping up.
I love that. I love the light, the little vial, the light of Erendil that he has with them to fight off Shelob that he immediately sucks with.
He loses it. He loses that end sting.
Yeah, bro, he sucks.
You are a mess, Frodo. You're an absolute mess.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another Peter Jackson cameo that's in this that's very funny, and it's when Sam comes in, which I love that moment. It's Peter Jackson will want to make a cool like Clint Eastwood Western movie moment where the character just their arm kind of just comes into frame, much like a Western type of thing. And he just says, let him go, you filth," and which Shelob does, just straight up drop Frodo on the ground. But that is actually Peter Jackson's arm that comes into frame with Sting in his hand.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they couldn't get Sean on the day, and like their just timing wasn't working. So Peter's like, "Give me the vest and the shirt. Fuck it. Give me the sword. I'll do it."
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
One thing about Sam is this man is all hands on deck every single time. My man is ready to fight for Frodo. I don't know why he likes this idiot so much, but if it comes to Frodo, that man is hands.
Number one overall pick of the sidekick draft. I'm telling you, man.
if we were putting anybody in the war, it should have been Sam, because Sam had hands for everybody. He was ready to punch a spider right directly in the nose for no reason. Like
he'll kill you with a pot or a pan. He don't give a shit.
The way he was just punching the shit out of Smeagol too, like that shit just made my day. Like that man's just like, I hate you and I'm gonna hit you. And
also,
I love that for him.
Shelob kind of soft. I mean, he stabs her in the face. But he stabs her in the abdomen pretty shallowly, and she's like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Like, this is too much for me. Hey, a win's a win. They don't ask how. They ask how many. But still, like, Shelob, I'm calling out Shelob, you're soft.
Listen, man, just an animal.
Right.
Not actually evil.
Yeah. But yeah, so much to Brian's surprise and Sam's surprise, Frodo is not in fact dead. He is just kind of unconscious and kind of stuck.
As always, just him being in a stupid situation. Damsel in distress.
Honestly, this is Frodo in his most useful form, when he's like unconscious and just a limp body. Like,
that's can't do no dumb shit.
That's the most useful he is for this movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, it's kind of funny now that I've watched these movies now, because I always thought Frodo was supposed to be like the hero and everything, and that's supposed to be like a really big thing.
Sam's movie, man.
I don't think I was supposed to like Frodo. They definitely didn't. They definitely made it hard for me to like him. Because he really did not do anything to actually help this journey. He was doing everything to basically fuck it.
He's the least Hobbit-like of all the four Hobbits. Like, he's the least like feel good vibes and good energy.
It's easy to say that with us having no knowledge of what the weight of bearing the ring for 13 months is. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
True.
But it is, so it's like it's hard to kind of accurately display that on screen. I think Elijah Wood does a
Right.
really good job, but it is kind of like, no, he just kind of just seems like an irritating prick a lot of the times.
Yes.
But it is kind of like he's getting corrupted. He's slowly trying to fight off this ultimate evil, but and I don't blame them. It is a hard fucking thing to show on screen.
Yeah.
It made him just very punnable.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. So Gondor is still getting fucked. Now it's nighttime. They're still getting fucked once again.
They didn't have time for lunch or anything.
No.
Man.
Meanwhile, Denethor's just like, how quickly can I burn my injured son? Like,
Kill
how
his son.
fast? Like, Faramir comes back. He's like, hey, I just need a hospital. He's like, cool. Let's die. Like, does anybody have a shitload of sticks and some fire? Because it's time to go.
It's
Like-
nuts, man. Ugh.
God, fucking idiot.
That's where they do I love a good classic like cowboy switch where it's like a film term where like they switch people in the same frame. So like when Denethor is clearly not dragging the actor that played Pippin, but his body double because he's a hobbit size. So he throws that person, they roll, and then the actor that plays Pippin just is waiting for them to hit him on the end of the shot, and he just pops his head up as if he just got chucked. I love a good cowboy switch. It's great.
It's fantastic.
So this is also a weird extended thing that we'll talk about later, but you don't see Gandalf lose his staff, Brian. I'll just say that. Did you notice that how he didn't have his staff at some point in this movie?
I didn't. I felt like there's times I didn't notice him having a staff a lot of times. So this didn't like shock me. I just
Okay.
feel like I just thought he just put it up and
He just
garage
put
or
it up.
just put it up in the garage or something. I don't know, man. He de-equipped it.
Yeah.
Equipped it and put it back in his bags.
There's a scene that showcases that, which we'll talk about later. But
Okay,
that's
so he was supposed to like lose his staff. That's supposed to be a thing.
yes. So he loses
Interesting.
his staff. Yeah, absolutely. Which is why in the final battle he only has Glamdring the sword.
I will say, I like the theatrical again in this case. The way this scene starts, the Ride of the Rohirrim. I like the theatrical cut more as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, the horns coming and them showing up is so fucking amazing, man. And the
Mhm.
light, like, oh, they're here.
The light coming
They're
in,
here.
yeah, because like the sun's rising, and they're also. I think they can't like when good guys show up. Like Sauron can only move his cloud as far as like the bad guys are, and so when the good guys show up, the clouds kind of disappear a little bit.
Clouds break.
So like, and they kind of push it with them because then the battle changes too, like because it's like very very dark, and then it gets brighter.
It's a new day. Fucking just screaming death as you charge.
Pretty
Oh my
badass.
God.
Amazing, dude.
To me, that's like the greatest moment in cinematic history. The Ride of the Rohirrim, and like the way, like his speech beforehand is so beautiful too, because it's like it's kind of similar to Aragorn's at the end, where it's like, listen, we know we're gonna die. Fuck it, let's go give it to him anyway.
You know who that reminds me of? Fucking Erwin in Attack on Titan.
Yeah, a little
true.
bit. Absolutely. Fuck yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's like, we're gonna die, but we're gonna fuck some shit up before we die. And then they all run in while just straight screaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think about that. That's hell yeah. Although I would say they do a lot better than they do in Attack on Titan, but
Yeah, they weren't
Yeah.
quite fighting the same enemy. To be
True.
fair.
One little thing I always loved about that is like the shot of Theoden on his horse, and like he's like it just showed you like the armies of Mordor, and then his horse just kind of comes up and like kind of snorts a little bit. It's like I'm not impressed. Like you know what I mean? Like, but man, like the music, and then like when they
It's
kind of like
great.
start walking a little bit, and then you can kind of see them kind of gaining speed, and the music is kind of going with it and getting a little faster.
The orcs
Oh,
start to
God,
get
it's
more
so
and more
good.
terrified the closer they
Yes.
get. They're like, oh shit. Fun fact, Carl Urban was so proud of that spear flick he does without looking at it.
Oh,
He
really?
was so proud that he was able to nail that on the shot.
That's phenomenal.
So funny seeing him then and now.
Oh, I know, right?
No, Ride of the Rohirrim. It's the best. And then like they just like I feel like that's how like I don't know, like who knows what an actual cavalry charge really looked like, but man, those orcs got wrecked. Like
got
they had
fucked.
no plan for a cavalry charge from the flank. So
So
bros
while that's
were-
going on, Gandalf is luckily, with the help of Pippin, able to save Faramir's life. Which
Mhm.
I do appreciate in this movie. I guess all of them, but this one especially. The hobbits actually get to do some heroic shit.
Yeah.
Like Mary
Mhm.
gets to he fights. Mary's fighting in a fucking battle,
Mhm.
and then Pippin, using the tiniest hobbit strength he has, pushes a full-grown man off a pyre while being set on
Right.
fire himself, most likely.
I just love how Gandalf, his whole strategy, Denethor, is just smack him with a stick every time he's doing something stupid. Like
Right.
just grab somebody's spear and just like whack, get off there, idiot.
Brian, what did you think of Denethor's Olympic trial time 40?
I didn't even think about that. What the fuck?
He was running on fire the whole
He
time.
is Usain Bolt, my friend.
He could have stopped, dropped, and rolled. He could have just like thrown off his
I mean,
coat.
you know, man, that adrenaline be hitting. So, you know, you'd be gunning for it. That's really funny.
Just that shot of him out the door, and then immediately the next cut, he's already out at the courtyard, jumping off. He's done. It's like, God damn, Denethor. That was fast as hell.
I love Gandalf is just like, well, guess Denethor's dead. He's like, he's not dead yet. Should we let you help him? Like, nah, let's not.
Nah,
Let's
fuck
just
him.
not.
His son's right here. He's alive. He'd take his place. It's fine. Fuck him. He's gone.
I just can't imagine the awkward stares at like Gandalf and Pippin at the other guys that were like helping him burn Faramir. At like after Denethor leaves, and it's just like, so you were helping him do that? And they're like,
We're just following orders, man.
just,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like shit. Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it, but whatever. He pays my salary. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
so then it becomes kind of the Battle of Pelennor Fields, and like one thing about the movie that I didn't love was that it's basically all Rohan in the field, right? But in the movies, or I'm sorry, in the movies, that's what it is. In books, as soon as Grond crushes the gate, that's when Rohan shows up and they sweep by the gate, and then the Gondorians actually go out into the field and like help the Rohirrim. So I always kind of was like, I didn't love how like the Gondorians are just so helpless that they're like, you know, they're like trapped all the way up where you see Gandalf and Pippin talking, and they're like, you know, they're like behind this.
Devin
this second
hates
level.
it when men can't stand for themselves.
Yes,
Devin, you gotta fix that shit in your brain. No.
honestly.
Not everybody can fight, man. Some of these people weren't made to fight.
The only reason I say that also is because it does give us one of the best. It's a kind of a speech. It's a short monologue that Gandalf gives to Pippin that rivals Sam's as the best when he's talking about death, and that death is not the end. And he talks about basically Valinor. He's describing Valinor to Pippin.
Does everyone go to Valinor? I thought it was just the elves.
No.
So like, I ain't going there, brother. I'm a hobbit. Fuck you.
Gandalf's like, that's where I'll go. I don't know where you going.
Gandalf honestly is playing with house money because he can die at any time, and then he'll go back to Valinor and they'll be like, well, how'd you do, Gandalf? Like, we're gonna give you a B plus.
Yeah. But I do love that speech, and Ian McKellen fucking kills it, and it just makes me cry like every time just seeing Pippin's reaction. He's like, "That's not so bad." He's like, "No, it's not," and then they're like ready to die. But yeah, before that, man, that Mama Kill charge is nuts. They get fucked.
That's another like Peter Jackson just loves killing good guys, man. Because like that was such a waste of people. Like, I just hate it. Like, I know cinematically that's why they did it, because it's like really fun to like look at. I guess it's like fun. It must have been a fun shot to do whatever. But good God, dude, do not like when Theoden's like, let's take them head on. Let's fucking not take them head on. Let's like go around the back.
That was a I'm not prepared plan.
Yeah, it's like maybe
okay.
let's just not do that and maybe do anything else. And like maybe I'll go inside these walls where they can't get in there, and you know, just kind of chill out for a few minutes. Like let's not go right at them. I know that's what we should not do.
Especially when like it shows like the tusk has like a barbed wire attached between them, and it's just charging through and like sweeping them.
They extended that even like they extended that in the extended cut, and there's like at one point a horse gets like stuck on one of the tusks of one of them. It's like, oh God, like I just didn't want to see that.
Éomer with the expert spear throw though. That, my God. And the dude like basically gives the Oliphant an ear piercing. Takes it out.
What rating are these movies? PG-13?
PG-13.
The last one?
Yeah. They're all PG-13. They got away with because it's all orc black blood.
Right.
And then you get what I say right to this day, if these movies came out today, incels and idiots would have a fit if Éowyn fought and beat the Witch King.
I am no man.
Like, as soon as she said that line, I was like, oh, I wish these would come out today and people would be mad. Like, fuck
She would
y'all.
have been a black woman, and then everybody would have been riding.
Oh, but it's one of the coolest. That whole fight is one of the coolest. I love that one shot of her when she has the shield and like the mace just barely like touches her sword, and it's like that. That's what all of us would be like in that fight. Like, this dude is
that's fucking terrifying. Are you kidding me, bro? The way I would have pissed my pants entirely from seeing this giant dude after she chopped the fucking dragon's head off.
That was amazing. Like, she kicks ass. She kicks ass.
Just like sidestep.
That's the thing in this movie as well. There is a weird power discrepancy. The way the power creep works in this world makes no sense to me. How the fuck are you that strong to cut through something like that?
Her sword was just really, really sharp.
She got hero power.
Like, listen, I don't understand. And there's another part as well from another character that does something that I'm just like, you're not stronger than that other character. There's no fucking way that you're as strong that you can deflect their blow like
I
that.
have a feeling I know you're talking. Is it
I
Aragorn?
think, yeah, this is Aragorn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know exactly what the fuck he's fighting.
Right
That doesn't
on,
make
yeah.
any sense. He's fighting the
Yep.
fucking Hulk.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a funny story behind that too, actually. But yeah, we'll get to
That's
it.
just one of the coolest things, like that. Like the two people that everybody's like, you can't come to war, and they're the two that like combine, get the
beat
combo
the Witch King.
kill on the Witch King, like the badass Witch King of Agmar, the Lord of all the Nazgul. Bro,
The Witch
you're
King really
soft.
didn't do that much.
Yeah, but he looked dope as shit.
He really was. He played some fucking what was that character in the first Star Wars Force Awakens?
Captain Phasma.
Yeah, just really just looked cool and then died. Like,
Yeah.
you really didn't sell us very strong on this one.
Well, he did a
Yeah.
lot in the other movies and in the past. He did a lot in the past.
But that was
against-
before you knew he was the Witch King. And then they do this thing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we put the armor on him because he's so fucking cool. And
Right.
it's like, okay.
Also, like, what if Flex like picks somebody up, be like, "Don't you know that no man can kill me?" It's like no man
No
or
man.
woman,
And he gets his Achilles
Or
heel
Hobbit.
stabbed.
just
Yeah.
caveats.
Yeah, maybe you should revise
Got
that
the
line a little
loophole.
bit.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that Peter Jackson kept having them make that like Mace Morningstar thing bigger to the point where like the guys at Weta who were creating all the props were like, I'm gonna get laughed at bringing this to set. Like it looks so stupid.
It looked really goofy, as big as it was. I did notice it was large for no reason.
Oh, did you think it was still look goofy?
I think it was too big for sure. Just knowing what they look like in real life.
I think it did the effect though, because it felt scary, and it kind of made you think like, oh, the Witch King's like super strong for being able to swing this thing around.
Yeah.
I feel like those things in history, I want to look into the history of like how those are actually used in battle, because they are goofy weapons to use. Like,
Oh, this is terrible.
if you swing it wrong or something, you're gonna hit your own people,
yeah,
or like,
or
you're just gonna
yourself.
start spinning around, and then like they can just get in there and jab you. Like,
Yeah, there's some good YouTube videos on it, like the correct ways to use it. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
Oh.
why the fuck?
Oh, wow.
For one, they're much smaller, and they're basically it's just
Yeah.
to be breaking plate up is what you're trying to do.
okay.
So you're just swinging like a crazy person, just trying to hit the armor as much as you can to beat that shit down.
Yeah,
And hope
that's
for
so
the best.
funny.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
goofy.
Funny enough, well, what Mary does in the book actually takes him out of the rest of the fight. Like he is
Mhm.
not in the final battle because of
Yeah.
his. You see, like his hand kind of freak out in the movie,
Right.
and they just kind of like, yeah, he's fine. Which I get it because it makes for a better moment later.
Yeah, but in the books, he's in the house of the healing.
Right.
Just all time badass moment though. I am no man.
Yes.
Stab
So
right in the
good.
face.
So good.
All time great moment.
And then he just
Yeah.
randomly crunches up. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
He
when
goes
you
into the
die.
void.
He's just so
Yeah.
shocked that somebody had the audacity to stab him. He has to
Right.
He
die.
imploded.
in the face. In
He
the
imploded from
nothing
pure
face.
audacity. Right in his little face pussy.
Also, what
Yeah.
a way to kill a Nazgul, like to stab where there's nothing, because like
Yeah.
they're just like stab the empty hood, and it's like, oh, that worked. Okay.
It
Yeah.
hurt her hand. She was like, that shit feel gross.
Yeah.
This is where our trio shows up, and this is
Ooh.
why this moment is so much better than theatrical.
Mhm.
Because again, like we said, it's left on a bit of a cliffhanger. So when the three of them jump off, funny enough, that's a completely CGI Orlando Bloom Legolas because he wasn't there for the day, jumping off the boat.
Oh,
So the three of them jump off, and they just charge, and then the army of the dead appears behind them and just wipes the floor with everything.
Honestly, why would you say no to Aragorn's offer? Because like they literally can't touch you, and you can just slaughter anybody in your path. Like,
It's pretty convenient.
Seems fun for you. Like, get your little last hurrah into it.
I mean, that battle was over after that. I feel like before he released them from his service, he should have been like, when they're like, you gave
One
us your
more
word, you're like,
thing,
can you just go kill a few more people real quick,
please.
and then we'll be good. Like, we'll call it
Absolutely.
even as soon as you go kill every Mordor.
Gimli
everyone from
has a
Mordor,
bit
we're
of a
good.
point.
Yeah. I think the way I rationalize it now is like maybe Mordor has some like protection and they can't get in there or something like magical. I don't know.
I
But
don't
either way, it's
know.
like very, very dumb to give up your absolute best weapon you have against,
Yeah,
A spectral
anyway.
army.
right.
Yeah.
Brian, what did you think of the upgrade from Legolas sliding down the stairs on a shield from Two Towers to taking out an entire Oliphant and then sliding down the trunk?
I still like the skateboard Tony Hawk move a little bit better. I didn't like the way that he was flying around there. It's super CGI, of course. It looked really goofy. I do like when he knocked the whole like harness off, and
Yeah.
and then Gimli's just like, it still counts as one.
Yes.
And then does Gimli say 77 there? Had he already
I
gotten to
don't know.
77? I don't even. I was watching it with subtitles and it didn't even say
by the
there.
time Legolas had got up to the Oliphant, he only had like 30 something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
true.
he was only yeah, that's true.
I don't even know why they bothered to like get in there, but like I love the scene of Aragorn just like straight up like cleaving people's head in half, just like with that new upgraded sword. He's just like taking orcs apart. Like
that sword bangs.
At one point, one orc, he just hits him right in the middle of the head, and the orc just falls straight to the ground in front of him. Like, it's like and then one of them tries to grab his arm at the end, and he just like cracks his neck. Like, bro, what are you clown? Like, what are you trying to do?
Funny enough, like the trio don't do a lot of the action in this movie, which is funny to think about. Like, that's the biggest bit mostly, and then they have the army kill everyone for them. Yeah, so they show up. Basically, the battle's won, and we didn't talk about this. We'll talk about it quick now. Theoden dies. This was the death that when I was a child and saw this, you guys heard this story last week. I turned to my cousin and just in shock when he lied to me saying no one died in this movie. And I'm sitting here watching Theoden take his last breath. I was like, you son of a bitch.
It was tropey enough that it didn't bother me. He got his little monologue before he died.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Someone had to die.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you, I don't feel attached to any characters in these movies. Anyone could have died.
I think Devin kind of wanted to die because like his son died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, like if he didn't want to die, he was definitely okay with dying because he was like, you know, like he kind of wanted to leave everything for the younger generation. He knew that his generation was the one that had to sacrifice stuff. So
I feel like he said some of that in his monologue.
Yeah. All right, we got to keep moving kind of quickly. We're running very late. Sam, once again, being the best, he goes to Kidith Uncle, kicks the shit out of a couple orcs, and saves Frodo's ass again.
Also,
again.
Very dysfunctional, like military to have people like if they can squabble over one shirt and they kill each other, the entire fortress.
Orcs,
like
Devin.
You can't do that, man. You can't have a functioning military that way. But I do love it as a thing.
That drop kick was nuts.
Yes, the orc drop kick is the absolute best thing
that
ever.
Shit came out of nowhere. It was just like they were fighting and like punching each other. And it was like from the top ropes. Yo, I was like, what the fuck? What's going on over here?
I really did love that orc too. Like he was very, very good. Like the way he kept on going, funny. Like after everything he would say, like
Yeah. Brian, were you surprised that Sam had the ring?
Yes, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't notice when that whole thing happened. I noticed they had talked a couple times about him taking it from him. But then after the whole situation happened where he was like, fuck you, breadcrumb fat boy. Yeah, I just didn't think anything of it. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because fuck, dude, I don't want them to go on another fucking quest to go back and try to find that shit. That's going to be really stupid.
The trilogy's only the beginning, Brian.
That's what I was worried about. I was worried about 30 more minutes of them doing some dumb shit.
Right, yeah. But this is, again, why Sam is the best sidekick and best person. He gives Frodo the ring back. He doesn't go corrupted by it, and he gives it back.
He did struggle for a second.
Strained
I was
a bit.
Boy,
I like to also think that he strains and kind of puts his hand back because he sees what it's doing to Frodo.
That's what I was wondering too. If he was just trying to be nicer for Frodo, because Frodo did have a really pained look when he was asking for it back, and I'm like, bro.
Also, have you seen Frodo's neck?
Yeah, that's just burnt.
Yeah, it's just getting heavy as hell.
It's like when you wear fake jewelry.
He's just green. It's like, this isn't the One Ring at all.
That's just fucking fake. It's made of nickel.
So yeah, they get the ring back, and Frodo wears the absolute dumbest orc helmet I've ever seen in my life. He's got that big old beak.
I like to think that there was an orc whose nose actually fit into that slot. And Sam still had his pots and pans after that. Still had his pots and pans.
They're rocking the pots and pans for some fucking reason. Yeah, a lot of this other stuff is extended, so we'll talk about it in a second. They march to the Black Gate. Aragorn is like, fuck yeah, give me this dope-ass Gondorian armor. I'm going to be future king. Let's go create a diversion to give Frodo the time, because he will be so fucked if we
got to
don't.
get the orcs out of the way.
For a brief moment, the eye finds Frodo, because again, dumb Frodo, dumb. Sam's like, Frodo, get the... What are you doing? You're going to fuck it all up.
I wanted the drop kick to come out again. I wanted Sam to have to kill Frodo in order to save the realm.
Honestly,
that would have been the best ending for this movie.
And then, oh God, that shot of him, like, this is in multiple, like many memes were made about this moment too, but like, he's like, oh, here for Frodo, I got some water left. And then Frodo opens it and spills most of it out of his face.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
He does the wrestling thing where he just puts it all over his face. Like, you fucking idiot, bro.
Sam's just like, really, bro?
This is like, wastes all the water they got left. That always bothered me.
Gollum comes back. He finds them. He attacks them. Because Frodo kicked his ass and threw him off a cliff. Funny.
And like also their whole climb up like Mount Doom, like Frodo's looking like a WWE wrestler because he goes from like dead on the ground to having insane amounts of energy where he's just running up the hill. and then he's dead on the ground again, and then like running up the hill. It's like, bro, like,
which
I need
I
some
love
WWE
I love it
announcers
when Gollum attacks them and Frodo's booking it.
here.
I like just because it's like in that moment, Frodo's like, I need to destroy this right now. I got the energy. I need to destroy this right now.
Yeah.
But before that, we can't pass up this moment real quick of Sam carrying Frodo.
He's like, I
Mhm.
can't do it. And he's like, well, I can carry you.
I can. It's
Yeah.
such a fucking beautiful moment of Sam. Frodo does not deserve Sam. Let's be honest.
He really
Not at all.
doesn't. He
Absolutely
really
not.
doesn't. Especially not after
Do
what
you
happened
think
then,
that
but,
Sam
you know.
had all that energy because he found that bread that Smeagol hid, and after he smashed it off camera, he ate that shit?
He ate it
Maybe.
all.
He definitely ate that shit, right?
Honestly, yeah, because like when he finds it, he reaches out for it, and he just sends half of it further over the cliff.
Yeah.
Like, Sam, man, you better pick that up and put it back in your bag.
That's it. You can be
Right.
mad, that's fine, but also, it was the only bread you had left. You gotta
Right.
eat that bread.
I also do love when they're fighting, and Smeagol's just like, Smeagol lied. Like,
Smeagol's
just
like, I don't-
crush. It's like,
Fuck.
Smeagol lied.
He'd be making me want to hit him in the face so bad. He just reminds me of another, like, he reminds me of a toddler. Just a toddler doing really dumb shit.
He is.
And like,
he is.
fuck you. I was right the whole time. Like, I'm gonna hit you. I'm going to hit you, child.
I definitely felt like Sam was like, finally, I'm vindicated. I can beat the
Yeah.
shit out of this little
Where he's
creature.
like, wait, I don't
finally.
have to beat him up anymore. I can actually like use Sting on him and cut him. Oh hell yeah!
Right.
Like, let me get this out of my. Let me get.
I knew
this out.
Smeagol didn't have hands. There was no way that guy could fight. Even as a
Yeah.
child, even when he was a real human man, he couldn't fight. Like,
Mhm.
Real quick before that, though, we can't pass up Aragorn and his amazing speech because this
Mhm.
involves one thing. I did perform this speech in college on my last my last theater performance. We do like a warm up circle, and everyone kind of just does weird shit and like to hype people up. And there was a bet that I wouldn't do this speech.
or
It all.
Frodo.
I did it all for verbatim in the middle of the circle. It was hilarious and great.
Jesus Christ.
But this brings us to Vigo badass moment number 3. If you've listened to this, listeners, you know 1 and 2 already. He broke a dagger that nearly was going to kill him. He, in number 2, what was it in number 2? Oh, he broke his toes and kept
toes.
it in the scene.
Mhm.
This one, after he delivers that speech, that horse was not meant to rear up like that. That was completely by accident, just based off Vigo's amazing acting ability of that monologue.
Amazing.
He's just amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah, that and then that whole Black Gate scene was a minefield that they had to clear out so they could shoot on it.
Holy shit, dude.
Why?
That sounds
And
terrifying.
There's so many
Why?
stories of like Carl Urban like thinking like we're all a bunch of people like trudging and kicking up this dirt, and you just look down and there's just like pieces of a bomb next to your foot.
Holy shit, dude.
They were
Um,
utterly terrified.
Could we shoot somewhere else? Maybe anywhere else?
To the point where like I think it was in New Zealand. All of this was New Zealand military is like, yeah, don't go over there. We've kind of boxed this area out, and they're like, oh, so this is all clear. They're like, no, there's just much less here than there is out there.
Ugh,
That's fucking nuts.
Insane. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Love. What about fighting side by side with a friend? Gimli and
Mhm.
Legolas.
Mhm.
Romance for life, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I like that. That's
And
good.
Yeah.
and then for Frodo, Aragorn charges in. Amazing.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know that I would have done a battle cry for Frodo personally, but you know, well,
Yeah, and you gotta love watching who's the next group of people to charge after Aragorn, but
The
fucking
hobbits,
Merry
yeah.
and Pippin, dude.
And then they get overtaken immediately. Oh, I thought that was funny.
The bravery of hobbits, man.
Yeah. They are very brave.
And then the Eagles show up. More Deus Ex Machina. They
Mhm.
come to save the day for a little bit. Still getting their ass kicked, but that's helpful. And then we get to the crack of doom. And Frodo, the ring makes one last play. And Brian, I'm sure, wanted to drop kick him off of this cliff as well.
there wouldn't have been any hesitation. As soon as he was like, no,
The ring is mine.
I'll keep it. And I'm like, we've been traveling for how many fucking
Oh.
days? Nearly dead. I don't have any more bread because
I
of your
know.
dumb ass. You spit water all over your face. We finally get the fuck up here, and you're like, I think I would have left you with a fucking spider, you dumb idiot. Get away from me. I had the ring the whole time, you stupid piece of shit. Get the fuck away from me. Talking about
Oh,
it's mine. I think I'll keep it.
It's so funny.
There's like this feeling I have like every time I like see him because like the whole quest is so long, right? And like they probably never really thought they'd even make it. And then the fact that you're
Right.
standing right there and all you got to do is drop it. Like
He's
there's
so
like
close.
this certain like,
He's so
oh my
close.
God, you're right
Do you
there.
think if Gollum was never there, do you think Sam would have been able to kill Frodo?
No,
absolutely
I don't
not.
think so.
And
Yeah,
that sucks.
Gollum-
Gollum,
yeah.
Gollum is the secret MVP.
he is. There. It goes back to Gandalf. Yeah.
when he says like, Smeagol has some part to play in this, that was he played it, and he played it beautifully because
it turns off biting off a fucking finger was the part he had to play.
Yeah, biting somebody's
Homeboy
fingers
was
off
wild for that.
Dance around a little bit, and like if he had put the ring on, there's no fucking chance they would have caught Gollum.
Oh,
like,
they would have been.
so
Yeah, it would have been done.
shady.
Would have been done. Funny enough, they ended up changing the choreography of this a bit because originally they just had Frodo straight up push Gollum off the cliff.
That's what I was hoping was going to happen.
And they were like, do we really want to make our hero a murderer at the very end of this movie? And so that's why they ended up changing it to Frodo's initial intention is to go for the ring so that there's more this tug and pull for the ring. And they both just happen to tumble off the cliff. So I was like, oh, that would have kind of been a little different, but yeah.
Right. No, I thought 100% he was going to just yeet that man off of that cliff. And I was excited for it.
Who do you think was present? I wonder this sometimes. I think it was Gollum, but who do you think was present when Gollum died? Do you think it was Gollum or Smeagol?
I think it was Smeagol.
I think it was Smeagol.
Because I think at that point, Smeagol has fully corrupted, where like, especially like you were saying, Smeagol says Smeagol lied. He doesn't say Gollum lied. He says Smeagol lied. Smeagol is fully like, fuck it, I want the ring. Like from the very beginning of this movie.
To me, Gollum's the evil one. Smeagol's the nice kind of like, Master loves us one.
You're right, but not at the beginning of this movie.
So it's Gollum. So it was Gollum. You think it was Gollum that whole time?
No, I think it was Smeagol. I think at that point they were one. Yeah.
Okay, they're
but
like
I
the
don't
same.
know.
They finally kind of came to peace, like Professor Hulk, except in a more evil way.
Yeah,
because like you said, the thing where he said Smeagol lied, like that's a very interesting change of what he did.
Yeah,
he was no longer separating the two, even though he's still talking to himself.
True.
I think Smeagol is very ambitious. Even going back to the other scene earlier in the movie where he says, "Well, takes it for me," and Gollum's like, "For us, bitch."
Us.
So we meant us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but either way, Smeagol, Gollum, dead.
Bro,
peace out.
He just evaporated immediately.
I don't miss you.
I thought they were gonna like show it. I thought they were gonna show him like turn to bone or like his skin burn off or something. I'm glad I just showed him fall through the lava water.
And do you think they were like the ring? I wonder if the ring had any power to be like, no, don't burn, come on, like hold, like don't. Burn.
I mean, I think that's kind of why they intended to have it like sit there on the lava for a little while. I was like, oh shit, what's happening?
It was sitting on a crispy piece of lava, not exactly lava itself, like a little crispy like.
A crispy piece of Golem.
Piece of cheese.
That's what it was sitting on.
Basically, yeah.
And then it gets a little hot and you're like, yes, go. Right. And then it finally like breaks up. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
And then, the ring's destroyed. I love the effect of the tower coming down, it turning, and then the eye just force pushing, obliterating the entire thing. Oh, it just looks so good.
Which conveniently kills all the orcs somehow. I don't know. There's a lot that a lot of things break for no reason at that point.
They went pretty Mass Effect.
I guess because he had tied a lot of things to him.
Right.
Pretty sick how he's like looking around too, like, fuck. But I do love though, even if Frodo hadn't fallen to the power of the ring, if he had been like completely like normal, I think he should have just like put it on one last time right before he throws it in, just so that Sauron could know that he's about to die.
Well, he does.
I know because like when Frodo puts it on as like I'm going to keep it.
Right.
And then Sauron looks over. He's like, "Oh fuck! Like,
right.
There's
Yeah,
somebody in there that has it on right now.
Like this is bad.
Like, peel off, like, oh my god, we got to get over there right now." I just think it would have been funny if Frodo's like, "Nah."
He just puts it on and off. Takes it on.
Gotcha, bitch.
He just waits. He makes Sam wait. He's like, "Sam, tell me when the Nazgul are on their way." And I'm like, "All right, they're coming." I'm like, "Peace." And he just like Kobe's it.
Eat it, throw it, get it in there. I just love that. I love that Sauron knew he was gonna die. Like after that,
yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, and that's how the movie ends. Psych. There's about 30 more minutes of this movie because there's 5 different endings.
Yeah.
Ending 1, Rivendell, the Fellowship minus Boromir. Sorry, Boromir. Reunited. It's nice to see them all together, and you kind of forget that Frodo thinks Gandalf's dead this whole time still. So him getting to see Gandalf is like, oh shit. I didn't know you were alive.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the fact that he hasn't actually seen Gandalf this whole time.
Yeah. Ending 2, The Return of the King, the coronation / probably a wedding at some point. This is exactly why I agree with them not having Arwen at Helm's Deep, because it makes them being separated for this long and this moment that much more special. So as much as I would love to have seen her there and be a badass and everything, I think it's a better storytelling moment to have this happen like this. Because then it's just like, oh shit. Especially after knowing she gave up her mortality, her fate is tied to the ring. She'll die if you don't win. Yada yada yada.
Right.
And he gets to see her, and it's a great, beautiful moment.
Okay, what's more worth it though, that reunion moment or a potential team up with her and Legolas just killing some Urukai. I personally would rather see that. I mean, I think it would have been worth it.
As someone that had no attachment to this love story at all, 'cause I thought that shit was real boring. Yeah, I would have liked to see a double kick flip from both of them. I think that would be pretty cool.
They're just like flipping over each other's backs, and like, I'm just saying. I think the potential there was a lot higher.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Also, fun fact: Liv Tyler had to force them to get Vigo to come back to set because they initially had her kissing his stunt double because like just timing and scheduling yada yada, and she made them like, no, I don't want to kiss Vigo or his stunt double in our last scene. Get Vigo back here, so they had to helicopter him back out just so he can shoot this scene with her.
Holy shit, that's so funny.
His beard is also like way fuller in that whole sequence. Like he's like you can tell it's been a few months.
He's a handsome man.
He is,
motherfucker.
Yeah,
and he's king now. It's great.
King Elisar.
That crown's pretty cool looking.
And another great moment, my friends. You bow to no one, and everyone bows to the hobbits. They saved the day.
Great moment. Except you, Frodo. You can step out. The rest of you three, like you guys did great.
It's mostly just Sam.
Yeah, really Sam. Honestly,
I might dislike Frodo more than I dislike Pippin, to be honest.
That's fair. That's fair assessment. That's fair. Ending 3. The hobbits return to the Shire. Things are not. They're exactly the same, which we'll get. Oh, actually, we can talk about it now because it's not an extended thing. In the book. The story does not end there. I don't know if you know this, Brian. There's a whole another battle that the hobbits have to face because once they go home, they realize orcs are there too, and they've taken over the Shire.
Holy shit!
Sauron taken over the Shire.
Yeah, well, they don't know it's Saruman until later, but yeah, there's evil people there, and you find out it's Saruman, which again you don't see in this movie. We'll talk about that in the extended.
And they kind of have to deal with it on their own.
Yeah,
you know,
I was wondering about
the
that.
4 of them.
I was like, Saruman didn't die.
Nope.
Where the fuck that man go?
In the theatrical, as well, all you know is he is trapped in that tower.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, it totally makes sense. Like in a movie, it's like the quest is the ring. Don't give us another epilogue battle after the ring's destroyed.
Right. I do like the movie doing that better because the whole point was to preserve the Shire as it was, right? And so I'm not really sure why Tolkien wrote that kind of part in the end of Return of the King. Maybe just to show that they could do a battle on their own.
No. To me, that I know he doesn't like say this is about World War blah blah blah, but to me that is about bringing the war back home after you come back home, and how you're not the same. Even there's still battles to be fought, mentally or whatever physically when you come back home from war.
But they cover that in the movie too, because like Frodo's like, I got some pretty bad PTSD, so I need to go get some elven rehab.
Yeah. So Sam and Rosie get married. It's very sweet.
Yeah, they had to make sure you knew he was not gay. They had to establish that. He said at the end where he's like, if I could do anything, I would marry her. And not you, Frodo. Even though I do, you are looking kind of cute. I mean, no. I want to marry her.
We have been together for a long time, Frodo.
Like, I get it, Sam. You like women. We got you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting that they don't do that. And then ending 4, the Grey Havens. Frodo says, oh, by the way, guys, I'm also going to die. See you later.
Yeah.
I'm peacing out.
Gandalf just like, yep, this is it, man. Like, last ship out.
It's so sad.
It's so, like, that is just such a bittersweet moment of just, like, I don't know. It makes me so sad. Usually when I watch Return of the King, I just stop it after Aragorn's coronation because there's always a little bit more left and I can kind of be happy with that, right? But this is like, no, this is the end. Like,
it's sad to see these characters go. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's so sad.
You want to know something even sadder? They had to shoot that scene 3 times. 3 separate times because the first one, Sean Astin, who plays Sam, was wearing the wrong vest when they're crying their eyes out. Yeah, he apparently something had happened and he changed to go get some food or something, and he changed out of the wrong vest. Came back, didn't change back. They realized it, like, oh shit, we have to shoot this again. They were all pissed. All the hobbits were pissed at him because they had to. It's a terrible day. You have to just cry all day. It's awful. And then they shot it a second time. Right vest. Got the film back. Completely out of focus. They had to shoot it a third time, and they finally got it. And I was just like, damn, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, 3 goodbyes.
Yeah, and then Frodo goes. He goes. They all say goodbye. Gandalf goes. The rest of the elves all dip out.
Bilbo gets to go.
Bilbo gets a great honor, even though I don't know. Bilbo's still asking for that ring at the end. I'm like, he's questionable.
Great honor.
Yeah. And then last ending, Sam, much like the book. Well, I'm back.
Yeah,
he's back.
I'm back. Last line of the book.
That is Sean Astin's real life daughter and the actor who plays Rosie's real life child as well in that scene. So that's cute. And that's the end.
God, I'm getting chills right now. And then maybe the best post credits song Into the West
Yes,
by Amy Lennox,
absolutely.
Annie Lennox.
Annie
But,
Lennox, yeah. That and this the hand drawn character
Mhm.
pieces throughout the credits
Yeah.
are some pretty cool things to look at.
Yeah.
That's the end, listeners. Sorry that took so long. We'll quickly rattle off the major extended stuff.
Mhm.
Brian, you actually get to see Saruman die in the extended.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And it's the most
Wait, can I
epic
do this?
death. Yeah, absolutely. Devin, take it away.
Okay, so this is the coolest. This is one of my favorite facts about Lord of the Rings. But Christopher Lee, who plays Saruman, he is in the OSS, I think, or MI6 in World War II. But he fought in World War II.
He's definitely killed a lot of people.
He killed real people. And in the scene where he gets stabbed, but what happens is Grima stabs him in the back. Like, as they're talking with him, he's on the top of the tower. And Peter Jackson's like, oh, you should have this big, like, scream as you get stabbed. And Christopher Lee's like, that's not what people do when they get stabbed in the back. And Peter Jackson's just like,
oh,
okay.
Okay. Why would you know this, friend?
So Christopher Lee knew how to, like, and he says it in one of the interviews. He's like, yeah, like when you get stabbed, you don't like scream or anything. You just, it's like the air kind of like rushes out of your lungs and you kind of like gasp a little bit. And it's like, this is a man talking about how he stabbed people.
He's killed a lot of Nazis in his day.
Christopher Lee had a crazy life. He was kind of a Renaissance man, but yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite Lord of the Rings facts about the entire trilogy.
Yeah. So yeah, Grima stabs him. He doesn't just die there. He falls off the tower.
Yeah, all the way down
onto a spike.
Holy shit!
And you see the whole thing.
Oh my god!
His body goes like into this wheel, and then the palantir kind of falls out of his pocket. It's a pretty gruesome death for Lord of the Rings standards. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they took it out.
And then like Treebeard and them just kind of sit there and watching. They're like, yeah, so the filth of Saruman is rotting away, like growing away. Like,
all right,
yeah,
we're good.
Like, that was crazy.
I'm watching the Saruman death scene. The way he just fucking hip slapped Grima, I understand.
Oh yeah.
After that. I would have stabbed him too, man. I wouldn't take that disrespect in public. People are watching, bro.
There's a bunch of like extended like dialogue stuff. They explain how Sauron sends a cloud to cover his army so that the sun doesn't hurt them. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
You see Merry pledge to Theoden, much like Pippin pledges to Denethor, stuff like that. With the Path of the Dead extended, Devin talked about it, how it spoils it.
I'm glad they cut it though, because it's goofy. When they're walking through there, and there's like the little wispy hands reaching out at Gimli and stuff. He's like blowing on them to like get them out of his face. It's goofy as fuck.
It's more comedy Gimli. Yeah.
But I do love the scene. They're like Legolas is like, don't look down or something. And he looks down, there's just all skulls and like bones. And then Gimli, he's just like looking straight ahead, and every step he takes is like crunching bones. And then he starts kind of like jogging a little bit to get out of it. Hilarious. Like very, very funny.
But like we were saying earlier, Brian, how it's very on the nose and they tell you what happens. Like literally Aragorn goes and they see the ships have ruined and they're like, oh no, they're crying because the ships are there. And then he turns around, the King of the Dead just comes out of the mountain and he just goes, we fight. And it's just like, okay, so you said yes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Totally give it away.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The extended part is worth watching on YouTube or something because it is hilarious. Like it is just
it's funny.
So funny because like the Corsairs roll up and Aragorn's like, you can't come in here. Like, you know, like you guys got to turn around. And the Corsairs like, okay, you and what army? And then he's like, Legolas, fire a warning shot. And then Legolas is about to fire a warning shot across their bow. And Gimli just like tilts his bow and it shoots a guy. And it's the guy that he shoots is Peter Jackson on the boat.
Yep. So that was his cameo in this movie. He gets to die.
And then Gimli's like, funny. Oh, I guess, well, you know, that was your warning shot. Prepare to be boarded. Like,
wow,
it's funny,
that
right?
is fucking.
It's
pretty dark, actually.
Yeah. No, Gimli, dude, Gimli has a savage sense of humor.
Gimli don't give a fuck about anybody except for Legolas and Aragorn.
Yeah. Yes, he's one of my favorite characters
so good
in the movies.
This is the extended scene we're talking about where you see Gandalf lose his staff because Gandalf has a mini one-on-one with the Witch King.
Mm-hmm.
The Witch King shows up, and Gandalf was with Pippin at that point, and they're like, "Oh shit!" The Witch King lights his sword on fire, which is a cool visual, and then he breaks Gandalf's staff like magically. Gandalf's staff in his hand just like shatters. It's not really explained. So that's how that happens. And then they fuck off because the Rohirrim arrive. So that's very short scene.
They should have probably kept that in there though. Right. Have the Witch King do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely shows you how powerful the Witch King is because man, like he could fuck some people up if he wanted to.
Absolutely. There's a whole extended House of Healing sequence where Éowyn is healed by Aragorn, and you actually see Éowyn talk with Faramir because at the end they get together. You see them next to each other. You allude that they're a couple. They are.
Honestly, nice to have Faramir get a good ending because, like, you could tell in Two Towers and stuff, he wasn't really the soldier that Boromir was, and now he gets to have like a life of peace. He'll probably be like a poet or something, you know.
I think Brian's still watching Saruman die.
That shit was really intense. Everyone is just looking, staring at him really awkwardly. I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying. That shit was wild, and the shit's still moving. Yep. Oh my god! So now he's gonna drown too if he manages to still stay alive after this.
Yep, it's pretty brutal, man.
He just like thuds on that wheel. It's just like, oh god, that was rough.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
He should have shattered into 1,000 pieces.
He's all the way down to his feet. Holy shit, that is crazy, man. I get why they didn't put that in there. That is a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. There's more like Aragorn stuff, a lot of stuff. And then there's a whole extended sequence of Frodo and Sam literally among the orcs in their disguises.
Oh my god.
Like they're marching with the orcs.
Which happens in the book. It's
kind of nuts.
That does happen in the book.
I would want to see that. That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
It was I do love, I think it's Jed Brophy who plays a lot of the orcs. He plays new orcs in the new show too, but he played a bunch of different orcs through Lord of the Rings. And I think he's the one that's like the overseer, like, don't you know we're at war? Like, he just did a great acting sequence.
Yeah.
The mouth of Sauron too. That was an interesting scene.
Go ahead. That's literally where I'm at. So go ahead.
Well, the mouth of Sauron comes out, and you can kind of see it in the theatrical cut. I think there's a shot of Gandalf where he's like clutching the mithril shirt. But basically, the mouth of Sauron comes out, and the mithril shirt that got stolen by the big one of the orcs, they found it somehow. And the mouth of Sauron's like, ooh, we found your boy, and we tortured him a lot. And yeah, whatever you were doing, because we don't really know what you were doing. But hey, whatever you're doing, we killed him because we definitely did. And we found his body, and he's dead. We tortured him a lot. Ha! And like the Fellowship people are like, did he though? Like, did he kill him? And like, I mean, he has the mithril shirt, and then they decide to say, fuck it anyway. So it kind of adds more context because like they maybe think that Frodo died,
right?
When Aragorn says like for Frodo, but and then 10 minutes later, Mount Doom blows up, and they're like, oh, so they were lying.
Aragorn also chops his head off in glorious fashion.
Let's go.
Yeah,
he's just tired of him talking, which I would be too. But I just love that like Sauron and the mouth of Sauron, the Nazgûl were like, wait, like, what do you think these hobbits were trying to do in Mordor? Like, I don't know. Like, think they were trying to take something? Like,
they're pretty dumb. They're
trying to take
dumb.
our like stuff. Should we maybe put a guard at Mount Doom just in case? Nah. That's crazy. We shouldn't put anybody up there. Like,
that's pretty much the movie. I do have to point out one thing because it bothers me so. This movie won all of its Academy Awards when it was nominated. So it won 11 out of 11.
Damn.
It's tied for the most with Titanic and Ben-Hur, but I will continue to say this. It technically should be at the number one spot of the list because Titanic was nominated for more things and didn't win it all. It didn't have a clean sweep like this did. And the same thing with Ben-Hur. It was nominated for more things, but also didn't win. And Lord of the Rings wasn't nominated for any acting anything. No best actor, actress, supporting actor, actress. Probably, and I would imagine, they didn't know who the fuck to nominate. There's too many people in this movie.
Oh, Sir Ian. Just give it all to Ian McKellen every time.
Sir McKellen would be my first choice.
Yeah, him. I mean, I could pick him, Sam, Viggo, any of them. Mm-hmm. But Ian McKellen, yeah, absolutely.
Viggo deserves something.
Yeah.
That man deserves something. Because Jesus Christ, he went through it.
He deserves health insurance.
Man bought the horses. Man broke every single bone in his body. Man was being really weird and riding the horses in the sunset where everybody else was having fun. Like, man was doing something else when it came to making this movie. He was on some not Jared Leto vibes. Fucking, who's the other Joker? The better one that passed away.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Who's the better one?
And then all of the Fellowship have the same tattoo. It says I think it's the word for the number 9 in Elvish tattooed somewhere on them, except for Gimli. Because he didn't want to do it. Because he was like, if I got a tattoo for every movie I was in, I would be covered in tattoos. So instead, very cool, the body double who we mentioned in the last episode got the tattoo with them. So yeah, thought that was very cool.
Damn, bro. That's cool. Definitely like, we couldn't invite the main person, so we brought like he was a backup.
To be fair, that guy was probably Gimli more than John Rhys Davies actually was.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the Return of the King, everyone. Brian, thank you for going on this journey with me and Devin.
Yes.
Do you feel different now that you finally have that checked off your bucket list?
Yeah. I mean, it feels good to finally watch it. It's been 20 years in the making, and it's always just been a thing that I just never had the motivation to just get started. So it's kind of forced me to. And I do appreciate the time that I spent with it. I might spend more with it. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick up at least one of the books and see how I feel about it. If it's just, I know it's going to be dense, but if it's just too boring that I just can't get through it, I probably won't buy the other two.
It might be.
Yeah, which I fully expect. But people said the same thing about Game of Thrones, and I thought that made me appreciate Game of Thrones way more than I did previously. So maybe I'll have the same kind of feeling.
I will say the cool thing about Lord of the Rings is that whenever they start on like a 5-page like elf song, you can just like skip ahead and you feel like you read more than you read.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm reading the fucking songs. Like,
Yeah, you can just skip the songs and like just go and just get to what's happening next.
I don't need that much lore. I'll pull it up on YouTube and see if someone sang it, and then I'll just do it that way.
Yeah. Only downside to that though is that some parts when there's no dialogue for like 2 chapters, and you just reread the same paragraph like 3 times, then that's when it evens out, it like catches back up to you. So I do need to reread them as an adult, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I've only read The Hobbit, so I know that's much more shallow.
Still so much detail though.
Yeah, I read that when I was a kid, like pretty young too, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. It's a much more readable book for that reason.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much it. We were talking about music. Shout out Liv Tyler sings a song on this. Vigo sings a bit in this. They got a lot of singing in this universe. And it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was Lord of the Rings. We've done it. Shall we now move on, I guess, sadly, to our final segment of the week?
Sure.
Yeah.
Very quick. I saw the Netflix movie Blonde. Oh, it's free for all. We can do whatever we want in here.
We're really giving it our A+ right here.
Hell yeah. I saw the movie Blonde on Netflix. It's so fucking just 3 hours of trauma. I can't really recommend it. It's incredibly sad. It's about Marilyn Monroe, but also like not Marilyn Monroe. It's real rough to watch. I may always say Ana de Armas is incredible in it. She's very good. She does cry most of this movie, which is just sad to watch.
Why do I want to watch this movie? It sounds like
no, you don't. You don't want to watch this. No, absolutely not. No, you just watched
just like a tragedy.
4 hours of Lord of the Rings. You do not want to watch 3 hours of this. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I had hoped it was a little better, and it's not that. No, it's just real traumatic and sad.
Yeah.
I had to pause it a lot and be like, need a breather. So yeah, can't really recommend.
Ugh.
I can go next. I want to talk a little bit about TwitchCon pretty quickly because that happened over the weekend this weekend. I never really thought or cared about TwitchCon, but for some reason I was just on twitch.tv just looking for something to watch. I don't tend to watch very big streamers. But as a convention, I suppose it's a way to meet the creators that you love and at a convention, which is, I guess, kind of like adjacent to meeting your favorite actors at a Comic-Con or something like that, but worse. And I will say this is the cringiest thing I think I've ever had the displeasure of watching before in my life. And I can't believe a ticket for one day costs $130 to get into this shit. Because this shit looked like a mess. Everything was just so poorly ran. The events that they did have just looked so stupid and just poor production quality.
Ugh.
Not surprised.
A big streamer, an ex-porn star, actually broke her back in 2 places playing one of the events that they did because there was a foam pit that you had to fall into because they're playing like some gladiator style stuff. But they skimped out on the foam pit and only covered a concrete floor with 1 layer of foam stuff. So she jumped in and then she instantly broke her back because she didn't know that it wasn't a full foam pit, that it was just 1 piece of foam and then straight concrete ground. So she is now getting surgery to fix that whole situation. And that is just one of the many blunders that have happened at TwitchCon over the weekend.
This is like the new, what there was the My Little Pony one. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this as a convention idea just because it's already parasocial to be a streamer for a lot of people because a lot of people think they want to be best friends with these people or think they are best friends with these people because they donated $30 to them. But now to have to go through that awkwardness, because I was watching some people like in real life stream while they were doing it, and watching those people have to sit there and do meet and greets with the awkwardest motherfuckers you've ever seen before in your life looked like literal hell. I would rather die in front of them than have to sit there and take that many pictures with the weirdest motherfuckers on earth. I don't know. It made me feel
I can't wait to watch some cringe compilations.
There's definitely going to be some cringe compilation of this, and I look forward to it. And also don't. So yeah, that was TwitchCon.
Damn.
I don't know what else is going to come out about it, but it did not seem like it went very well. Even one of the biggest streamers, awful. Amaranth, someone asked her, how was TwitchCon? And she said, it was okay. And I'm pretty sure she was paid to be there. Because she was at most of the events.
So that was her. Damn. Yeah, that was the best she could say without saying it sucked and maybe losing some money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was fun.
Ouch.
Wow. That's not surprising in the least. Devin.
It occurred to me as we were talking about Aragorn's coronation and he sings a song when he gets anointed king. I feel like we should maybe, well, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if we did that with political leaders of our time. And I'm just curious what their song choice would be. So like at Biden's like inauguration, he just has to sing like "Born in the USA" or something, or like Bohemian Rhapsody, or something by Lady Gaga, even, or Taylor Swift.
That man does not remember any words to a single song. I'm not sure he always remembers his own name.
I'm pretty sure every president would just sing something super patriotic like that. What's that song? I'm proud to be an American, Cause at least I know I'm free. Or like,
I want somebody to fucking bust it down to some Nicki Minaj.
It'd be pretty rough. But yeah, maybe we should have more people singing songs, Tolkien style. More leaders singing songs.
We just need more singing.
More people singing in general. Yeah. It's good. That's a good call.
It's true. I don't know if I want everyone singing though. No.
There's no way Joe Biden's going to be sounding very good, or Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump can sing a single tune in his life.
Oh man. That's
One thing I did want to add about TwitchCon. It's going to make Devin mad. Meg Thee Stallion twerked on Master Chief. Boom.
Yeah. Wait, she was there?
She was there.
Why would she? What?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's
and she
so
twerked on Master
sad.
Chief on stage.
That's hilarious. Yo, she's twerking with everybody lately, man. That's great.
When's my turn?
It's okay at a convention. It's not okay in the show.
It'll be in season 2 confirmed. Canon.
She's gonna show up in Halo. Yeah.
She's a grunt, actually. She'll be in a lead.
If I have to think of one more thing with Master Chief and butt cheeks, I'm going to lose my mind. There's 2 things I don't want to put together.
All right, everyone. That is the show for the week. Sorry we ran long, but it was Lord of the Rings. This movie was fucking 8 hours long, and it's over now. You can email us at thefortress@gmail.com, fortress.four. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, or anything like that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat, tell your best friend who's probably better than you in every way, shape, or form, and will not be corrupted by the ring. Rate, review us, preferably 5 stars, whatever you like. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art, Alex for the music. Devin, thank you for being here. You can find Brian at ITZ_, by the way. Alex at Peterson Films, and Devin, you can find him. Where are you now, Devin?
On the plains of Gorgoroth.
Oh.
Okay, that's where you want to be? In Mordor?
It's
All
not,
right.
It's not where I want to be, but I feel like I could do it a little bit more efficiently than Frodo, though. I feel like I got a little bit more energy.
So I agree with you 100%.
You also have longer legs, so
yeah.
It's kind of frustrating watching him in that scene. It's just like, bro, just walk. Just keep going.
Just fucking walk.
And he's just like stumbling around.
I get you have all of the evil in the world around your neck, but fucking move your ass.
Just one foot in front of the other. It's not that hard. Come on.
All right, everyone. Next week, I don't know. She-Hulk, Rings of Power, something. Not any of those things. Who knows? I hope you stick around though. Happy holidays, and put a code on. It's code out there.
Grey's Anatomy just came back on.
Woo!
Season 19, baby.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week here in another episode of The Fourtress of.